morning to the very latest coverage. We do want to keep you informed right here on Live Now from Fox. Looking ahead to the 1 p.m. Eastern Time hour for Live Now from Fox's total solar eclipse coverage presented by Nissan. Again, that live coverage starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time with my colleague Josh Breslow. The time now 8:40 on the East Coast. Let's go to a quick 2-minute commercial break, and when we come back, more live events, top stories, and headlines of the day. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox, and good morning to you. If you're just now tuning in, I'm Jeanne Francine. We are just hours away from this anticipated event, the total solar eclipse. Right now, we're going to check in with Fox weather correspondent Max Gordon. He's live out there in Cleveland. Max, good morning to you. What can people out in that area expect?
Hey, good morning, Jeanne. Well, I've got kind of some bad news for folks here in Cleveland, but if you're here in Cleveland, you already know it. It's been raining this morning. Luckily, the rain showers are going to be tapering off, and the clouds, unfortunately, they'll be sticking around. We should have about 60% cloud cover as we hit this total solar eclipse today. The eclipse will begin at around 1:59 local time, and then we'll have totality at 3:13 p.m. That'll last for 3 minutes and 49 seconds. That's when the moon will travel in front of the sun, blocking out the light. It should be a really cool experience. That is, if we can see it. It's still going to get dark even if there's cloud cover, but it won't be as spectacular of a sight. But there's going to be a lot of folks in town here for it. There's been a lot of tourists walking around. A lot of excitement has been building. And during the eclipse, there's going to be a very Cleveland thing going on. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, based here in Cleveland, they're going to be DJing the eclipse. And during totality, they'll be playing none other than Pink Floyd's Eclipse. Very fitting. Now, we talked to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame CEO about what he's looking forward to. Take a listen.
I want to feel the temperature drop. It's my understanding, when I've seen it before, we all get a little circumspect, a little more mellow. There's some emotion involved, and I can't wait to do that with a ton of people out here together. It's going to be very magical.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of people out here. Between 140 and 200,000 people are going to be flocking to Cleveland specifically for the eclipse. We talked to a few people, though, who said that they had made alternate plans in other locations in case it was going to be cloudy here in Cleveland today. Haven't caught up with any of those folks. I don't know if they moved locations. We even talked to one guy who said that he booked an Airbnb in Quebec Canada in case it was going to be cloudy. It actually looks like the chances for less cloud cover should be pretty good up in Maine and potentially up in Canada as well. But, you know, a lot of people here in Cleveland who have stuck around, they will be crossing their fingers that the clouds will part by the time of totality, because if they do, it should be a pretty cool sight. Gina?
Max Gordon there with Fox Weather. Max, I'm crossing my fingers for them as well. I mean, my goodness. Many people, this is their first time seeing one. I haven't ever seen one. I don't know if I was taking a nap, working the morning shift or something during the last one, but I'm really hoping for the folks out there in Cleveland that they are able to take part. And I want to ask you, you know, I saw you this weekend out there in Cleveland doing some things with the Guardians. Are there any events that people can possibly go to?
In Cleveland. So it really all has to do with what Mother Nature has in store for us. And so again, I think a lot of people here are just hoping that the clouds will, I guess, part at eclipse time, because we are going to have that 60% cloud cover. So we'll just have
Morning. No, I always enjoy speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Live Now from Fox. You enjoy the rest.
Thank you.
And as we continue to talk about today's anticipated event, we want to appreciate and thank Fox Weather. Don't forget, they are our weather headquarters. Just search Watch Fox Weather on any web browser. And again, as we continue to look ahead to today's event, giving you a look ahead to 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Live Now from Fox's Total Solar Eclipse coverage presented by Nissan. My colleague Josh Breslow will be in the host seat, giving you everything related to today's coverage, some pretty cool images from around the world, and also some exclusive interviews. He wouldn't tell me who he's speaking with because he said you have to tune in to find out. So I did try to find out for you guys, but he wouldn't give me the preview. So make sure you're tuning in at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for all of the latest total solar eclipse coverage. The time now 8:48 on the East Coast, and right now we're going to transition to another top story we are following here on Live Now from Fox.
Rooms with weapons, opening the closet there and telling us to get dressed. We were naked, we were in our pajamas, and they demanded that we dress up.
What's going through your mind in that moment?
Terrible fear, fright, and shock. We got out in a line, the boys were already going out, and then Yam followed. Before that, one of the terrorists saw Yam's uniform shirt. He opened it like that. I remember his big green eyes, and he screamed at me in Arabic. And I don't understand what he's asking me.
So you're driven into Gaza with your children. What are those first few hours and days like?
7 דקות של לקחו אותנו לעזה.
It took us 7 minutes to get to Gaza and 7 weeks to return. When we came back from Gaza, the unbearable ease of how it all happened was unbearable. At first, when we arrived, we reached the tunnel. We were there for 2 days.
What were the interactions with Hamas like when you were held in these locations?
באופן אבסורדי הם שומרים עלינו.
Actually, in an absurd way, they guarded us, protected us, sometimes even with their bodies, from the Israeli Air Force strikes. We talked about this absurdity. We talked about this absurdity several times. And they also made sure to point it out, like, we protect you from the Air Force attack. That is the word absurdity.
The reason Hamas wanted to keep these hostages safe is to exchange them as part of a larger ceasefire deal for Palestinian prisoners. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
All right, Trey, thank you so much for that detailed report. Now at 8:51 on the East Coast, giving you a live look at a cloudy and hazy Gaza. All of this as those missile strikes continue amid the war. And speaking of the war, we actually did hear yesterday from Chuck Schumer, who gave an update on Iran. And he also spoke about some concerns he had about some credit card mergers and how it could affect your pocket. Let's listen in.
Everybody, whose is this? This ours?
Senator, give them white balance.
But what's this little thing?
Is that a recorder?
Got it?
You're going to give them some, yeah.
What's this?
Oh, that's just a microphone.
Okay, I don't mind. Just curious. Okay, good morning, everybody. First, we'll talk about credit cards and then about Iran. Okay, well, we're here today because two major credit cards that millions of New Yorkers carry each day, Capital One and Discover, could soon become one company in a multi-billion-dollar merger with really bad potential consequences for consumers. People have been pretty quiet about it. But if these two companies merge, this is Capital One and Discover, it could mean higher interest rates, bigger fees, less competition for tens of millions of customers and millions in New York and Long Island. So this would be the largest credit card merger on record. And usually, when there's consolidation, the consumer pays the price. So we're asking a whole lot of questions about this merger because we're very worried about it in terms of raising prices. Today, I'm demanding answers on this merger before any green light is given. And I've sent a letter to the heads of the two. I've sent a letter, I'll do it on this side, to the heads of the credit card companies asking a whole lot of questions. Because again, mergers usually mean trouble for consumers. I have written the companies asking a litany of questions regarding antitrust and consumer protections. Look, when it comes to credit card companies, we know one thing is for certain. Their bread and butter is a myriad of fees and sometimes eye-popping interest rates. That's why the proposed merger of Capital One and Discover is of such great concern. Consumers are fed up already with their credit card interest rates. More consolidation in the industry could very well mean even higher rates and higher fees. And many credit many card holders are unaware of this merger. It's been kept relatively quiet, and so they won't even know when their rates go up. Why? If the merger were to occur, and they won't have the opportunity to switch to another company before the rates go up. Less competition in the credit card marketplace could very well mean higher interest rates for the card holders, bigger fees, and higher penalties. I just like this. I got to give it to Angelo and Paige. Look how they put these two cards together. Very good. Okay. So let me just say this. What are the kinds of fees that could go up? Annual fees, interest charges, late payment fees. And the history has shown, oh, more. Wait. Let me start over. There are more of them. What could go up if this merger occurs? Your annual fee, your interest charge, your late payment fee. In addition, foreign transaction fees, balance transfer fees, and cash advance fees could go up. Fees, fees, fees. You get it, and consumers are tired of it. We've all had enough, and the credit card companies are anything force in the Middle East. We see this every day in Yemen, in the Red Sea, in Lebanon, Iraq, Syria. They have little regard for peace and little regard for their fellow citizens of the Middle East. So here's the question I've been asked by some of you, and that is, what are we doing to prepare? I know the President and his team are working hard to prevent escalation and are prepared to defend any attack and respond swiftly if necessary. Look, overall, tensions are high across the Middle East, and that's why we want to pass, I've been working on this all weekend, that's why we want to pass the bipartisan Senate infrastructure bill, because, tensions in the Middle East are very high. That's why we want to pass the National Security Supplemental. It's critical, and we are all urging Speaker Johnson to put it on the floor of the House. It passed the Senate in a large bipartisan majority with 70 votes. Okay? We'll take questions on these two subjects. First, on credit cards. Any questions? Okay, then on Iran. Okay. Have a nice, yes.
Mayorkas, how are you going to handle, how's the Senate going to handle it?
Well, as I've said, I think the charges are absurd. There's no evidence, zero evidence, that he's committed an impeachable offense. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
So a brief press conference out in New York City from U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer sharing some concerns of credit credit card mergers and Iran on the right side of your screen. Following top stories this morning here on Live Now from Fox as it relates to that anticipated event, the total solar eclipse. That top right box giving you a live look at our XRAD system. And actually, I'm going to bring that full if you don't mind so you can get a closer look. Our XRAD system there on your screen as weather is top of mind for many. Some are concerned that cloud cover and even rain could damper their total solar eclipse parade, but nevertheless, you're getting a live look at the XRAD system to see how it could be impacted. We're also following our content partners with Fox News Channel as we continue to bring you preview coverage of the total solar eclipse. So right now we're going to head out to Dallas. Checking in with Fox 4 Dallas as they are previewing coverage that area and neck of the woods, one of the prominent places where you can catch the action in totality. Let's check in with them now.
The only local news at 8 a.m. Thanks for watching Good Day on Fox 4.
Well, good morning. It's Monday, April 8th. I'm Brandon Todd.
I'm Lauren Principal. Thanks for being with us. We turn straight to Evan today, not just for clips, but also for some severe weather later today. So
at least the two aren't at the same time. I'm just very happy because we're going to have several events after the eclipse. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, count them, in the next 24 hours, starting around, say, afternoon. 3 events that could all have severe weather associated with it. Let's start with this morning. Where the high clouds are flying in this morning, what you're looking at, you can see them racing. If they're racing, they're blowing with the upper level winds, and they are the cirrus clouds. And you can see them out there. You have no choice. They're definitely out. Here's the first visible satellite shot of the morning. It's kind of waiting for that. It takes a little while after the sun comes up, but these are the low clouds. These are now taking over the sky from Dallas on to the south and east. As expected, they're really starting to cover a good chunk of real estate. And by late this morning, I would say everywhere from the Metroplex east and south will be on the mostly cloudy to cloudy side. And you're going to be sitting there getting ready for your eclipse party, 11, 11:30, 12 o'clock going, ugh. This isn't what I wanted. And areas north and west actually will have pretty decent conditions with just high clouds. As we go through the afternoon, these clouds are going to begin to scatter out. About the time that the eclipse starts, not the total, just the eclipse, the partial, and then the total, which is about 140 to 144. Notice how that dark orange area just gets less and less. Now, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to see a sunny sky, and it doesn't mean you're guaranteed a cloudy sky. The clouds will just scatter out during the afternoon, which is fairly typical. This has nothing to do with everybody saying, oh, the atmosphere is going to cool and we're going to break up the clouds magically. These aren't the kind of clouds that break like that. But we are going to get the breaks this afternoon, more and more of them as the day goes on. So once you get past 2 and 3 o'clock, the odds of getting breaks are better. Now we turn to the severe weather, 5 to 11 o'clock. Storms, especially from the Metroplex east, overnight is about 10 or 11 o'clock, and then overnight from the Dallas-Fort Worth area north. And each batch may have its own severe kind of weather. We're going to discuss that in a few minutes. But the low clouds are expanding, and then the low clouds really expand as we go through noon, and then the clouds start to break.
Well, we are ready. Well, we are ready. Communities across North Texas are ready to host thousands of people from around the world for today's total eclipse.
The town of Ennis in Ellis County, south of Dallas, hosting a huge watch party to experience the more than 4 minutes of totality, which is Paige Ellenberger live in downtown Ennis. And it's funny because we think of Ennis, it's not one of the bigger cities, but boy, it's big today. Ennis probably the talk of the town.
Oh, my goodness. No, you're absolutely right, Lauren. And all morning long, we've been talking about that Blue Bonnet Festival and how many people that truly brings in. And I'm with Marty Nelson, and just a few minutes ago, he's the city manager here in Ennis. Just a few minutes ago, I said, you know how many people come in for the Blue Bonnet Festival? You told me just over 10,000 people, around 12. Today, though, is going to be a much different story. How many folks are you expecting, and how do you prepare for that?
So it's a completely different order of magnitude for the solar eclipse. The low estimate is about 50,000 people. So to put that in context, that's an extra 25,000 vehicles will be coming to Ennis today to have this once in a lifetime experience.
You told me if you were to put every festival together that Ennis holds throughout the year, it wouldn't even come close to the total number of people you're expecting today.
That's correct. You put them all together and it's a lower number than what we're going to have today for the eclipse.
A lot of plans.
Blue Bonnet Trails.
Awesome. Marty, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Brandon and Lauren, I'm going to put on these solar eclipse glasses, and I know you can see me. I can't see you guys whatsoever. But Marty mentioned it. Standing here, there was a lot of cloud coverage this morning. There are some blue skies peeking through. I don't even know if I'm looking at the camera anymore. So fingers crossed that a lot of those clouds dissipate and it turns out to be a really, really good day here in Ennis, because a lot of people will be here looking for that just under 4.5 minutes of totality. Guys?
Yeah, kind of in the dark. Right now. Yeah. I know, but you're gonna need them. So hang on to them. Hang on.
Definitely.
Yeah. A crowd of 30,000 expected at Clyde Warren Park on the north side of downtown Dallas to watch the eclipse.
And Fox 4's Hannah Battah is there this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, you guys. Yeah, it's been a while since there's been a total solar eclipse in Dallas. Last time it happened was back in 1878. So yeah, the anticipation's really been building up. Even over the weekend, we saw so many people come to Clyde Warren Park, like you mentioned today. It's going to look more like tens of thousands of people. Some people we saw putting out their blankets as early as about 6:30, even 7 this morning, and for good reason, because today's events here is a full day worth of activity. They have the food trucks out already. They're going to have a band performing, and they're going to actually partner with the Perot Museum to have Carnegie scientists out here doing a panel discussion about the solar eclipse and what this means bigger picture-wise in the science community. We spoke about all the family fun activities this morning to the president of Clyde Warren Park. She also wanted to note that they're going to be passing out free solar eclipse glasses that are ISO certified for anyone who wants to come out here to view the event. And you best believe they have had people come from all over for today's events.
The response has been overwhelming. We've been receiving calls from the UK and Germany and all these different places for weeks and weeks now. People are traveling from all around the world to come to Dallas for a natural event, which is really exciting. And they're coming to our green space, which is also really exciting for Dallas. So our food trucks yesterday said that they serve people from every other city in the country. They couldn't even believe it. So really, it's a big day for Dallas, and we're glad that everyone's here.
Yeah, and when I spoke to Kit earlier this morning, she said that she just recommends people get out here early to get their spot, but also to figure out the parking situation. She said, as long as you are where you want to be, whether it's in downtown Dallas or somewhere else around North Texas for the eclipse, just get there before the start of the eclipse, not totality, an hour before the start of the eclipse itself. The next time it's expected to hit Dallas, by the way, is going to be in the year 2317. And for here, we'll see that totality for about 4 minutes later today. For now, reporting live at Clyde Warren Park, I'm Hannah Bataffer. Good day.
I think that's the perfect place to see it because you're going to be like in downtown. You're like in the middle of downtown with all the buildings. And so it's going to be really, I mean, it's really going to change things just to see how dark it's going to be in the middle of the city. So
that'll be pretty cool.
Awesome. Enjoy, Hannah.
So many North Texas students will actually be watching the solar eclipse at school today.
Yeah, I'm going to be surrounded by little kids later today, so I'm excited about that. Medical professionals talked to Grand Prairie ISD students Friday. All the kids in all the schools getting a lesson on, you know, proper eye care, proper eclipse viewing the protocols, just how to avoid any eye damage. Students will be wearing protective certified glasses when they look at the sun, even when it's partially covered.
We want to be very adamant about the safety ahead of time, so the days after the eclipse, we're not having an influx of patients having problems because they look too long at the eclipse.
Many school districts, I should say, are keeping campuses closed to visitors during the outdoor eclipse viewing, which is 12:30 to 2:30 this afternoon. Some school districts, including NSISD, just closed today because there's just so many people in that area, and they just want kids to be with their parents.
Well, stick with us. Fox 4 is your solar eclipse headquarters. We've got everything you need to know about the eclipse all morning long and also continuing through totality this afternoon. We're live all the way through. You can also learn more about the eclipse on our website, fox4news.com, and even on our streaming channel, Fox Local. 13 minutes after 8.
And we appreciate Fox 4 Dallas for their extensive coverage. And don't forget, right here on Live Now from Fox, we have extensive coverage. The total solar eclipse live coverage presented by Nissan starting at 1 p.m. Eastern today. My colleague Josh Breslow will be hosting the festivities for you, giving you a look at some pretty cool camera shots and also some exclusive interviews. You guys, I did try to ask him who will he be speaking with. He says he doesn't want to give up the goods just yet, so you have to actually tune in to find out. And looking at some total solar eclipse tips, let's check in now with our content partners over at Fox 29 Philadelphia.
We'll show you what the sun looks like as the eclipse starts at 2:08 and wraps up around 4:30. But wait, there's more. You got any snacks around the house, like some Cheez-Its or some Cheerios, things like that? They work too. You're looking for anything with a circle, like a little pinhole. Check this out. Here's the little Cheez-It. Yep, there's a little hole right there. And then, let me use my hands. We'll make kind of like, you ever make like animals out of your hands? See that little circle right there? That'll show you what the sun looks like during the eclipse. I love that. And it works with the Cheerio too. I feel we always have Cheerio or different circle cereals at home. It'll show you what the sun looks like. So it's a sunny circle right now, but during the eclipse, it'll look a lot different. And then on Friday, on Good Day Philadelphia, we made eclipse viewers. If you really want to do something with the kids, we have the instructions at fox29.com. Get a little piece of tinfoil, another little tiny hole I poked with a pen, and it's the same idea. The sun gets projected in, and it's tough to see from my vantage point. Here, I'll swing it around. Let me know if I need to turn this or not. I don't know. Can you see it, Tom? Tom's running the camera for me. Let me know if I need to kind of tweak things a little bit more for you. Can't see it in there, but I'll take my word for it. You get that in there, and you can kind of see it. You put a little piece of white paper, and it's so neat how all these things work, and we're just getting started. I went around my house this morning. I went around the garage. I found a lot more items that you probably have right in your home that you can use to see the eclipse safely, just in case you don't happen to have the eclipse glasses. And by the way, I tried out some welder's glass. Welder's glass doesn't block out the sun as much. This is cool. Right now I'm looking at the sun and I see a perfect circle right through the eclipse glasses. I can't see anything else. So cool. That is a check from the rooftop and all the at-home items you can make. Mike, it's all yours.
Put it over that can of beer.
Beer? I'm in.
Here. Yeah. I found it. I found the beer. What's your name?
John Rullo.
And the name of the brewery?
Rohrbach Brewing Company.
I love this
Rochester,
shirt.
New York. Yeah. This is a collaboration we did with the three breweries: Strangeburg, Three Heads, and Rohrbach's.
So I hear it's sold out.
It sold out really quickly, much faster than we thought. And it takes a while to make beer. So
and why do people like it so much?
Wow, because it's a great beer. But also, it's the Eclipse is a once-in-a-lifetime event.
Yeah.
So I think some of it is they're just trying to make sure that people, they get their hands on it and want to save it.
He made thousands of cans. There's only one left. And let's go take a look at it. We're shining it with spotlights. All right, well, camera lights anyway. Sergio, thank you for the lighting. I appreciate it. Remember him? Yeah. So this is it.
All black can, isn't that cool?
All black can.
Yeah, and that's the totality. We had a lighter side and a darker side, and that is a black Czechoslovakian
is
lager.
the only one left.
The only one that I know of.
May I?
Sure.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Where's the glass? Or I guess you could drink out of the. Mike, I got to tell you.
It looks creamy.
Anything. You're a diehard because it's early in the morning. But not too shabby, right?
It's not that early for me. I get up in the middle of the night.
I love it.
Oh, that's really good.
Cheers.
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 Cheers to the eclipse. I think it's clearing up again.
It is. Woo! It is. Look at the sun is shining.
The sun is out.
Well, at least for now it's shining.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we won't be able to see it, right?
Thank you.
All right, so looking like an exciting time out there in Philadelphia as they are gearing up towards the total solar eclipse. The time now 9:18 on the East Coast. Let's get to our first 2-minute commercial break of the hour, and when we come back, continuing with those live events, top stories, and headlines of your Monday morning. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Jeanne Francine, and good morning to you. If you are just now tuning in, you are in for a special treat. Taking a look at the feeds out at Fox 29 Philadelphia again, I see they are making some Eclipse snacks. Yes, you heard that correctly. Let's take a look together.
This one, because it couldn't be any easier. Okay. I got some Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies and some cupcakes with lemon icing on them. Take a look at the picture of what we're going for. You can also do it with an Oreo. There's your Eclipse cupcake. You just drop that cookie right on. Look at that. Instant Eclipse.
Perfect. Oh, let me do it again. Hold on. We didn't get that one.
Okay.
Here it comes in. Here
Totality. There we go. So could this be any easier? And for bonus points, I got croissants because they're crescent shaped for the crescent moon. And I got vanilla wafers. You could put the black icing on the vanilla wafers. And then you can make your own Eclipse. Ooh.
Or you can even...
yeah.
I don't know.
And you can put them on there too. So, so this is all last minute, easy peasy stuff. Better than Pinterest, right?
And
that
we get a
was
little
great
breakfast.
and fun. Thank you. Oh no, I broke them. These are breakable. They're defective Oreos. They're the breaky kind.
See, it wasn't me.
I even bought the
My
Oreo
baby
brand.
arms live up.
It's not
Coming up, it's a total eclipse of the closet. We're having an eclipse-inspired fashion show and telling you what colors you should wear today to see and experience the eclipse even better. We're back right after this.
So pretty cool to see those snacks, an Eclipse cheese plate, and even cupcakes showing the different phases of the eclipse. So if you're thinking of something cool to do with the kids today to put things into perspective for them and do a cool science experiment, that might be the thing to do. Make some cupcakes. Right now, I want to give you a live look at our XRAD system as we continue to discuss today's anticipated event. And for many, weather is a concern. I know earlier when I spoke with Fox Weather's Max Gordon, he said out in the Cleveland area, people are a little sad because they were hoping to be able to see some remnants of what the eclipse will look like today. But out in that area, there is a lot of cloud cover, and there have even been some showers. I'm also checking in with Dallas. They were kind of saying the same thing. So as we continue to give you these top stories and headlines throughout the day, just know we are keeping you weather ready as well so you can be prepared. And speaking of later today, right now, I want to give you a preview so you continue to look ahead. Live now from Fox's total solar eclipse coverage today, presented by Nissan. Live coverage starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time with my colleague Josh Breslow. He says you will get some pretty cool pictures from around the U.S. and also some pretty compelling and exclusive interviews. So as we continue to give you all things eclipse, make sure you are tuning in right here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Jeanne Francine, joining you on this Monday morning. It is April 8th. It's been my pleasure to be here with you the past few hours, giving you all of those live events, top stories, and headlines of the day. But we have to go to a quick 2-minute commercial break. When we come back, my colleague Mike Page taking over, continuing with your pregame coverage of today's anticipated event, the total solar eclipse, also giving you other top stories and headlines of your Monday morning. We'll be right back in just 2 quick minutes.
And welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. Beautiful shot of New York City on this Monday. But it's not a normal Monday. It's not a normal start to the week. It is Eclipse Day. Welcome. I'm your host, Mike Page. I'll be gearing you up for the next 3.5 hours as we get you ready for our coverage starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. You're not going to want to miss it, but we're going to gear you up as we get you ready for the eclipse. It is going to be a show. More than 32 million people in this country will be able and will be participating and watching it in some capacity. And we thank all our viewers watching along with us right now, as always. I want to kick it off with NASA putting out some tips on how to get the best photographs and also be safe at the same time. Let's listen right here on Live Now. Right there. Looking forward to that, and excited to see all the great video and pics to come a little bit later here on Live Now from Fox. Let's keep things going. Let's go out to Fox 4 Dallas, where they are getting ready. Their morning show has been doing such a great job. Let's listen into some of their coverage as they get ready for the totality moment coming to them. Let's listen on Live Now from Fox.
All right, 5 hours, 12 minutes, 50 seconds away.
But who's counting?
Who's counting? Away from the total solar eclipse. Thankfully, we've got the countdown there. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people are going to be planning to witness this celestial event.
Yeah, and you have plenty of time to attend these free viewing parties all across the Metroplex. Fox 4's Ticia Muzinga joining us in studio with a look. Ticia.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Pretty exciting. So there are several free viewing events happening across North Texas. So let's go ahead and start here in downtown Dallas. The Ron Kirk Bridge and Felix Lozada Gateway in downtown Dallas is welcoming thousands of people. There will be music and hands-on STEM activities as well. Plus, the first 3,000 people will get free solar eclipse glasses. Heading north, the total eclipse of the park is at the Addison Circle Park. Again, you can expect live music, food trucks, and outdoor activities from 10 a.m. until 4 this afternoon. Now, there are 2 parks in Plano to watch the eclipse as well. People are invited to both Windhaven Meadows Park and Oak Point Park and Nature Preserve. In McKinney, Gabe Nesbitt Community Park and Sports Complex is open to the public from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And people can gather at Exchange Lawn at the Fort Worth Stockyards. The viewing party is from 1 to 3 p.m. today. And we also have other free events in the Metroplex on our website at fox4news.com. For Good Day, I'm Ticia Muzinga.
Yeah, you know, some people like to be with the crowd and celebrate. Others like to just stay home, maybe just watch from their backyard.
Right. Yeah.
If you do take some pictures, share with us on social media, because it is fun to see how everyone's, you know, I say celebrating together. It is kind of a celebration, all of us doing it together. Pretty unique.
All right, 8:28 on this Monday.
And we'll be checking in with Fox 4 Dallas throughout the morning and afternoon right here on Live Now from Fox, everyone. Let's continue on and continuing to showcase you this big eclipse preview from NASA. You're watching on Live Now from Fox.
Welcome to NASA Science Live. This is your chance to interact with NASA experts and have your questions answered in real time. I'm your host, Tahira Allen. Today, we're diving into the excitement surrounding the upcoming total solar eclipse that will cross North America, passing over Mexico, the United States, and Canada. If you have questions throughout the show, you can send them in using the hashtag AskNASA on social media or drop them directly into the comment box wherever you're watching. Now, this eclipse isn't just any ordinary celestial event. It is a rare opportunity for millions to witness the moon completely block out the sun, turning day into dusk for those in the path of totality. And get this, this will be the last total solar eclipse to cross the contiguous United States for the next 20 years. What makes this even more special is that an estimated 31.6 million people live within the path of totality. And if you're not in the path of totality, no worries. Everyone in the contiguous United States will have the chance to see at least a partial solar eclipse. Now picture this, a collective pause as people across the U.S. gaze upward to experience the wonder of the cosmos together. I can't wait. And today, I'm joined by Dr. Gina DiBraccio, a sun expert who's going to walk us through how to prepare for the April 8th event. Gina, welcome.
Hi, Tara. Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much for being here. Now, can you kick off by telling our viewers a little bit about your role here at NASA?
Sure. So I'm the Deputy Director of the Heliophysics Science Division at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. That means I'm helping to oversee an organization of scientists that are studying heliophysics, which is the study of the sun and its influence on everything. So we're looking at the physics of the sun, but also how it impacts the Earth's magnetic field, the upper atmosphere, and really just understanding how the whole system works together.
That is great. And Gina, I'm so happy to be here with you again today.
Yes.
Gina and I had a blast hosting last year's annular solar eclipse, and I think it's safe to say we are thrilled to be back again for the total solar eclipse. Now, before we dive into some details, Gina, can you help clear something up for me?
Sure.
What exactly sets an annular solar eclipse apart from a total solar eclipse like this year?
Okay. So when a solar eclipse happens, the moon is going to cross in between the Earth and the sun. And when that happens, the moon's shadow is cast on the Earth, and we can look up in the sky and see it. Now, for an annular eclipse, the moon is going to be just a little bit farther away so that it doesn't completely block out the sun. And that's what you can see on the screen here. You're left with a ring of fire in the sky. Wow. Now, for a total solar eclipse, the moon is going to be closer to the Earth so that the sun is completely blocked. And that way, we can see the solar corona. It's that hot upper atmosphere of the sun that we can't see with our visible eyes on a day-to-day basis.
So it's really good to know that difference because, you know, it's my understanding that in total solar eclipse, the safety tips then are a little bit different than an annular.
Right, exactly.
And so for our viewers at home, we have a special guest, someone you might recognize, who's here to let us know how to safely view the April 8th event.
Hi, Eclipse enthusiasts. Lance Bass here, and I want to tell you how to protect those eyes and stay safe during a solar eclipse. During these celestial events, the sun, earth, and moon are in sync, creating solar eclipses. You can look directly at the sun during a total solar eclipse, but only when it's completely covered by the moon for a brief period known as totality. This is a really special moment. At all other times, you should wear eclipse glasses so that you don't say bye-bye-bye to your vision. Seriously. And eclipse glasses are not the same as regular sunglasses. No, they're not. Safe solar viewers are thousands of times darker and will have a specific certification that you should look for right here. Don't be a space cowboy and try to look directly at the sun. If you don't have eclipse glasses, you can use an indirect viewing method, like a pinhole projector. You can make one of these with something as simple as an index card with a hole, or a colander, or even your hands. With the sun at your back, you can safely project an image of the sun through the hole onto a nearby surface like the ground. It's gonna be me who is wearing my eclipse glasses, and so are you.
Okay, we are already seeing a lot of questions pouring in online from our viewers watching, so let's jump right into this Q&A. Now remember, if you're watching live, you can submit your own questions for Gina using the hashtag AskNASA or by posting them in the comments wherever you're watching today. Alrighty, Gina, our first question is from Oh, it actually looks like, so we've got kind of a group question here.
Okay.
It looks like a lot of people watching are asking about notices that may have been issued in certain areas with guidance on how to prepare for crowds and preventative measures meant to reduce traffic. Could you give us a little bit more info on how to best prepare for April 8th?
Sure. So as you said earlier, Tahira, along the path of totality, we have about 31 million people.
We have a lot of people, which is so cool to think
So it's
about.
already crowded to begin with. And of course, we'll have people traveling into that area to make it even more crowded. So, you know, just think of the preventative measures that you can take in case you get stuck in traffic. So make sure you have gas in the tank. Make sure if you have a battery operated car, you've charged up, you have some extra food and water with you. If there are traffic lines, you know, just be prepared to have patience and wait a little bit for that.
Thank you, Gina. And so we have our next question is from a user on Facebook who wants to know what science will be done during the total solar eclipse.
Right. One of the things that we're most excited for at NASA is actually performing different science experiments during the eclipse. Now, a favorite that I like to talk about is that we're using NASA's WB-57 high altitude research jet to perform some experiments. So the the jet's going to fly across the path of totality so that it gets a little bit longer in totality than if you were just standing on the ground. And what that means is that the instruments on board are going to look up at the solar corona and take images so that we can study the composition of the corona, understand how particles are accelerated and charged, and also be able to study dust that is around the sun that we can't really understand when we look at just on a day-to-day basis either.
And so, and this is only an experiment that can be done during a total solar eclipse? Is that right?
Right. So we do have instruments called coronagraphs that are essentially artificial eclipses, and they will block out the sun so that we can study the corona. But the way that the light bends around these coronagraphs, we can't actually get deep down into the corona itself in that lower part of it. So for the total solar eclipse that happens naturally, it allows us to get down into the lower part of the corona, which means this is one of the only times that we can, you know, study this area of the sun.
That is amazing. And so we have our next question on Jordan, from Jordan on YouTube, who wants to know, why is it bad to view a solar eclipse directly?
Okay, thanks for that question, Jordan.
Yeah.
So we want to be really careful about eye safety during any eclipse or even on a day-to-day basis. You don't want to look at the sun so that you're not causing any permanent damage to your eyes. Now, the way that it works for a total solar eclipse is that during the partial phases, you need to have the proper safety viewing that we just heard about. You can have the eclipse viewing glasses, you can make a pinhole projector, and you need to use that to see the partial eclipse. If you're in the path of totality, during totality, you don't need to have those glasses. You can look directly up at the sky and see the sun because it will be blocked. So you're just looking at that corona. You're not actually going to be looking at the sun, but only for totality.
And I have a great follow-up from Mouse757 on YouTube who wants to know, where is the path of totality for this event?
Okay, you can go to the NASA website, go.nasa.gov/Eclipse Explorer, and it will show you the map so that you can actually see where totality is located. But across the U.S., it will stretch beginning down in Texas, all the way through Ohio. We'll have a station in Cleveland doing the broadcast too, and then up through Maine as well. Yeah, exactly.
And thank you for that. And then our next question is from Matthew Henson on YouTube, who asks, what happens to the moon and the sun as seen from Earth?
During the eclipse, so we have the sun in the sky and the moon will be crossing in front of the sun. So when you're looking up at the sky with your proper safety gear, what you'll see is that the sun slowly becomes covered by the moon. And that's our perspective from the surface of the Earth, basically, is that we're going to see the sun kind of disappear as the moon moves in front of it.
That is so cool, too, that the moon is just the right size, you know, to cover the sun during this event. And so we have Alana Franklin on YouTube who wants to know, how long will the eclipse last?
So if you're in the path of totality, maximum totality will be around 4.5 minutes long. It depends, though, where you even fall within that path. If you're on the edges, it could be a little shorter. You want to be kind of as deep within it as you can, and then you'll get that maximum totality. But I will say that this eclipse that we're having coming up in April, totality is lasting longer than it did in 2017 when we had the eclipse across America as well.
Do you know why?
So it just has to do with kind of where the moon is in its orbit, how far it is away from the sun. And for that one in 2017, maximum totality was only about 2 minutes, a little bit more than that. So we're almost
doubled. Oh, man, that is so cool to know. So our next question is from a viewer on X who wants to know, what tips do you have of taking pictures of eclipses?
Okay, well, if you are taking pictures of eclipses during totality, you can use your phone. That's fine. The same way that we can look at the eclipse with our eyes during totality only, you can also use your phone to take pictures. Now, at any other part, you need to have a proper solar filter in order to take those photographs.
So not during a partial eclipse?
Correct.
Yeah, anytime. Okay. So our next...
All right, we'll check back in with NASA in just a little bit here on Live Now from Fox. We are going to take a 2-minute break. And when we come back, we will continue to bring you the latest on our total solar eclipse 2024 coverage presented by Nissan. Again, we will officially kick things off at 1 p.m. Eastern, but we will continue to showcase. We are just hours away from this event from starting, so we are going to take a 2-minute break. When we come back, everyone, we'll continue to bring you the latest and also check in with school children that are gearing up for today's big event. And are you ready, everyone? We are getting excited, just hours away from the big event, total solar eclipse. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us here today as we gear you up for today's big event. But I'm not the only one excited. Millions of people aren't the only ones excited. We have school children that are definitely excited about all of this right now. So let's go out to the Houston area. Fox 26's Chelsea Edwards joining us here with the latest, and you got a lot of eager students ready for this, Chelsea.
Yes, indeed, Michael. We're here in Crosby ISD at Barrett Elementary, where we've got an array of students ready for the solar eclipse, right? Yes. Okay. All right, we've got a lot of smarty pants in this group tier too. Let's first take it to Miss Smith, third grade science teacher. Tell me how you helped get your students ready for the eclipse today.
So we have been doing a lot of projects over the solar system, and then it just so happened to be that it led up to the solar eclipse, and we've done some reading comprehension questions just to get them prepared as to what's exactly going to happen today. And then they were able to make some cool little masks to protect their eyes whenever they look up at the solar eclipse today.
So just like the sun and the moon, everything just lined up when it came to the curriculum here.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, all right. Let's talk to some students about how ready you are. I see so many moon faces, alien faces, all sorts of things. Okay, who can tell me what they've learned about the eclipse for today? All right, let's start right here. What's your name?
Mia.
Mia, what grade are you in?
Third.
Third grade. Okay, what have you learned about the eclipse?
I learned that that the moon goes in front of the sun for a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. Had you ever seen anything like that before?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have? Really? Tell me about your project here.
So we worked on it for like a couple of days, and like we had 3 classes, so when we look up to the sun, it don't hurt our eyes.
Oh, that's right. You've got some protective glasses. Okay, who else? I can see somebody's hand back here. Oh, well, let me work my way around. Okay, what do you call this work of art? Is it a moon?
Yes, it's the moon.
It is the moon, indeed.
It's the moon, and you can see the United States flag. Sorry, because you can't see all the stripes.
It's nice though. I can tell that's the U.S. flag. Okay, so how excited are you for the eclipse today?
I am really excited. It's like a one-of-a-kind experience you can see in your life.
Oh, absolutely. Have you learned anything while getting ready about the moon and the sun and all this?
Yes. The moon blocks the sunlight from the earth.
Yes.
That's going to make the earth seem dark and gloomy.
Ah, okay. Ooh, dark and gloomy. Okay, who else is ready for the dark and gloomy? Who do we have up here?
Grace.
Okay, what grade?
I'm in third grade.
Third grade. Okay, what have you learned?
We learned about total and partial eclipses.
Ooh, that is very smart. Oh, what's a total or partial eclipse?
A partial eclipse is when the moon almost blocks the whole sun, and then a total eclipse is when it totally blocks the sun.
Oh, wow. There are a lot of adults who don't even know that yet. Can you believe that? And we're going to see it for the first time for a lot of you today. Okay, what else have you learned?
So we learned that there was one in 2017, and they only happen every 400 years.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So we are so excited for this to happen again, and especially here in Texas, not something we see, right? Okay, where's the principal? Where'd she go? There you go. Okay, Principal Renee has, okay, tell me a little bit about how you all have gotten the whole school ready.
So throughout, like Ms. Smith was saying, throughout the whole year, we have different curriculum that touches about the eclipse during science. But, you know, this is a great experience for our kids to learn about it, to read about it, to do projects. And really that solar eclipse, hopefully we can see it today.
Yes.
But it really brings it to life. So it brings those teaks to life. So we're really excited that they'll have that opportunity.
Yeah, we got some hanging around. But either way, through these projects, everything that they've learned, what do you hope the students take away from the experience today?
We just hope that they also have a love for science and understanding of what science is, that it's around us, it's real life, it's not just in the classroom. It really translates to what we live in the real world.
Yes. Who loves science? Yes, I love to see it. Okay, let's take a couple more before we send it back. Let me work my way around here. Okay, who else we got? I saw your hand a long time ago, so you definitely have to tell us your name.
My name is Logan.
Logan, what grade are you in?
Third.
Third grade. What did you draw here on your protective eyewear?
A cat that's blue and purple with solar eclipse tattoos, and when an alien. And that I learned is when these glasses blocks off all the light except the solar eclipse light, aka the solar light, because without the glasses your eyes will get damaged and you might get blind.
Ah, I love a solar eclipse alien cat that is going to help protect our eyes. Okay, one more. Let's do one more before we go. Right here, what's your name?
My name is Taryn.
Taryn, what grade?
Fifth grade.
5th grade, are you ready for today?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
What have you learned to get ready?
We've learned that the moon on solar eclipses, the apparent diameter of it is actually larger than the sun, which actually blocks it.
What? You just blew my mind with that science fact. How cool is that? Do you really love science?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah? Is it your favorite subject? No. We won't tell your science teacher that. Okay, Michael, I'm going to send it back to you. But as you can tell, the kids here are definitely ready for today's once-in-a-lifetime event.
Yeah, they really are. They are smart and yet brutally honest. You got to love it. They are ready for this event there. Chelsea, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. We always appreciate it. Bye-bye, kids. Take care. All right, everyone. We are going to take our final break of the hour. Stay right here with us, everyone, as we get you ready hours away from the total solar eclipse here. We are getting excited. Stay right here with us. More to come on Live Now from Fox, everyone. And you can see people are already gearing up and getting their favorite spots right now. And we are awaiting this moment as well. We'll be back with more to come in just moments. Live Now from Fox. Back in 2. And welcome back, everyone, to Live Now from Fox. We are getting you ramped up for the big total solar eclipse 2024. We are very, very excited for this moment. Before the break, we showed you this great shot. This is coming from Mexico, where we have many people already getting their spots ready for this eclipse there. And remember that this is the last one in the century that will impact Mexico, the United States, and Canada, all three. This is the last one that will have all three featured here for this total solar eclipse next time in another 100 years there. But in the U.S., after this one, we could expect another one in about 20 years. So we'll be keeping an eye on it all for you, as always, on Live Now from Fox. We want to continue to keep things rolling right here. Let's go back out to Fox 4 Dallas as they gear up for the eclipse.
Sold-out watch party that's at the Perot Museum. I think that's the hot place to be today.
Yeah, indeed it is. Fox 4's Dan Godwin is there this morning live with a look. Good morning.
Good morning, Brandon and Lauren. Total solar eclipses are pretty unusual. The last one visible anywhere in the contiguous United States, 2017. Before that, it was 1979. And after today, the next one will be visible from part of the contiguous United States in 2045. So we are lucky that the path of totality runs through North Texas for this one. Want to say hello to Dr. Solange Ramirez, a Carnegie Science astronomer. And Solange, this last October, we were able to experience a partial solar eclipse. I watched it from my driveway in Dallas, but what's happening today will be of a whole different magnitude.
Yes, absolutely. Like today is going to be completely dark during the day for a period of 4 minutes, where the moon is going to cover the sun and actually make it a little bit dark as well as a little bit cold.
Yes, the temperature drops, and we're talking quite dark for that 4-minute period. The public is obviously fascinated by this, but a total solar eclipse for scientists, those in your community, it's quite an opportunity to learn about the sun.
Absolutely. During a total eclipse is the only time where we can actually see and study the corona of the sun, which is the outer part of the atmosphere, where we can also study what is called the solar wind. And this kind of detail cannot be done in studies of other stars because the sun is the closest that we have.
Of course, it's our closest star. And perhaps the most remarkable aspect of all of this would not be possible if our moon and the sun were not in perfect proportion. In other words, the moon is precisely, 1/400th the size of the sun. An amazing coincidence.
That is one of the amazing coincidences that actually make a total solar eclipse possible, because the apparent sizes of the moon and the sun are the same, even though the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but the sun is 400 times farther away.
Okay, yes, indeed. And we're all fortunate because of it. Absolutely. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Solange Ramirez. Lauren and Brandon, we're talking about the sold-out events today here at the Perot Museum of Science. Those are underway, and they will continue. They're all sold out. However, there is a big event at nearby Clyde Warren Park, a watch party. They're expecting maybe 30,000 people there. The Cotton Bowl, thousands more. And the museum has arranged to bring in lots of different scientists and astronomers from around the country to share their expertise. They're fanning out across the city, including at many, many schools today, to help everyone, and especially students, fully appreciate what is going to occur. Reporting live, Dan Godwin on Good Day.
All right, that was Dan Godwin from Fox 4 Dallas a little bit ago. We continue on right here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page, gearing up for at the top of the hour here, almost. We are 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. on the West Coast. Hope everyone is having a great day, not a normal Monday by any means right now. We are gearing you up for the total solar eclipse, as always, right here on Live Now from Fox. Let's check back in with NASA as they gear up for this big event.
And it makes the sky darker. So we have the opportunity, as you see on the screen here, to see Jupiter, also Venus. Those are going to be two of the brightest planets in the sky. But then right along there, Mercury, Saturn, Mars, those are all faintly visible. And then even more exciting, there's a comet that can be visible too. That's Comet 12P. It's faint, but depending on, how dark your area is and whether you can see it in the sky, take a look, and this will be an interesting planetary alignment.
Absolutely. And I mean, as if this day wasn't, rare, exciting enough. Now we've got this planetary alignment, we've got a comet.
Right.
And so fingers crossed on clear skies. Now we have some more questions coming in. Okay. Let's get to a few of them.
Sounds good.
All right. We have Twilight, linkable on YouTube, who asks, I heard that some eclipse glasses don't have the right specifications to protect your eyes properly. When shopping for glasses, what specifications do I need that will protect the eyes?
Sure. When you're buying those glasses, of course, you always want to get them from a credible source. One way to check is there's a standardized number. It's called the ISO. You want to look for number 123122. And I think we have some people from my NASA team here that can input that in the chat so that you can make sure that you're getting those glasses with the right safety specs as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for that. And so our next question is from Antonio Rabid on YouTube, who asks, do we know what the weather will be like during the eclipse?
Right, so the weather will depend on whatever location you're in.
Okay.
Yeah, but we just heard about that Eclipse Explorer map, and that actually has real-time weather information in it where you go to your location and you can find out what the weather will be during the eclipse there.
I have I'd say a good follow-up to that. Halloween Hool 31 on YouTube asks, will temperature change during totality?
Oh, yes. So this is something that is one of the most fun things to experience. And we experienced this during the annular eclipse, too.
It completely blew my mind.
Right.
So.
We're shivering up on stage a little bit. Yeah, the temperature will drop. The sun is blocked and the energy, the heat coming from the sun into the atmosphere, it changes the atmosphere. And that's also why we have this Globe Observer public project that we were talking about to measure those temperature changes. So, there's different things that will affect how much the temperature will change. For instance, how humid it is in your location, but you will feel that temperature drop, and it can be as large as 10 to 15 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, even just for what we experienced with annular, like you said, I mean, we're like shivering on stage, and then for totality, what, we expect it to be even a little bit more?
Yeah, probably a little bit more than what we had for annular. But even for the annular eclipse, a majority of the sun was blocked. So, get chillier in both of those instances.
So I know we touched on this earlier, but for those of us who are just tuning in and watching, can you explain again what is the key difference between an annular solar eclipse and a total solar eclipse?
Right. And so basically a solar eclipse happens when the moon crosses in front of the Earth, in between the Earth and the sun. Now for annular eclipse, the moon will not be blocking the sun completely. It's going to leave a ring of fire because the moon is just a little bit farther from the Earth in this case. For the total solar eclipse, the moon will be slightly closer to the Earth, and it will block out the sun so that we can see that upper atmosphere of the sun, the corona, as the sun is obstructed during that totality. So the viewing here that you see on the screen, that's the main difference in the effects, whether you get to see the solar corona or if you're looking at the ring of fire in the sky.
And so we've been touching a lot about, the path of totality and being in totality for a total solar eclipse.
Sure.
And so we've got a few viewers who want to know, what if I'm not in the path of totality? What can I expect on April 8th?
Yeah, and, it's just as exciting and spectacular if you're not in the path of totality. You won't get to see the corona because the sun won't be completely covered, but you'll still get to experience a partial eclipse. And depending on where you are, the amount of that partial eclipse will vary. You can go to the Eclipse Explorer map to see just what coverage you have. But viewing a partial eclipse is really exciting too, and you'll still get some of those temperature changes and the changes around you as well. So whether you're in totality or seeing that partial eclipse, it's still exciting. Yeah.
So we have Mayor Usman on YouTube who wants to know, is cell phone disruption expected? Will this affect any of our communications during the eclipse?
Oh, that's a great question. And so, there is space weather activity that can disrupt our cell phones when the sun is sending harmful radiation out into space. It can impact the Earth's upper atmosphere and cause minor blips in cell phone. However, first of all, we have different things in place to avoid that. And specifically during the eclipse, that's not really something that we have to be worried about. But I'm glad that people are thinking in that direction. That's great.
Yeah, and you mentioned studying space weather, things like that. We have another viewer who wants to know, what missions does NASA have that study the sun, and what mysteries are we hoping to solve?
Okay, well, right now, NASA, in the Heliophysics Science Division, we have the Parker Solar Probe mission. And this mission is actually flying into the upper atmosphere of the sun. So that solar corona that we're talking about viewing during the eclipse, Parker actually flies through it and touches it. And this is the first spacecraft to ever get this close to the sun. In fact, on December 24th of this year, it will have its closest approach, flying 9 solar radii close to the sun. And that might sound far, but it's actually the closest that a spacecraft has ever gotten, so that we can really figure out how the physics operates in this region.
Okay, now 9 solar radii. Can you give us an idea?
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to ask my team here to give us some stats on that and put it in the chat, just so we can get it maybe into miles for people to understand.
Yes, that would be great.
But it is much closer to the sun than we are, so that we can touch the atmosphere there.
Awesome. And so our next question actually, again, has to deal, with the sun and its activity. It's from Fox McCloud on YouTube, who wants to know, will we see solar flares during the eclipse?
That could very well happen. Now, the sun has an 11-year activity cycle where the activity is ramping up and down. And when it ramps up, we see more of those solar flares, we see coronal mass ejections, and more. And right now, we are gearing towards solar maximum, which means we have more of this solar activity happening, and you can see the explosive flares occurring. So if we were ever to see some of this activity during the eclipse, this would be the time, because we have tons of activity happening. So fingers crossed with your solar telescopes or your viewing, that we can see some solar flares erupting.
Is there any certain science we can only conduct during it?
You're watching Live Now from Fox, everyone. We appreciate you continuing to be with us. I'm your host, Mike Page. Always great. Again, it's to be with you. We'll get back out to NASA in a little bit. But since we are Live Now from Fox, with live being in the name, we try to bring you all of the events that are happening live right now. So let's go out to Fox 4 Dallas. They are doing a great preview of today's big event as well. Let's continue to listen in on Live Now from Fox.
Years of planning. It's all going to pay off today for many communities across North Texas, as hundreds of thousands of people from around the world are coming here to experience the eclipse.
Oh, the town of Ennis, how it has made this in the spotlight. It's Ellis County, south of Dallas. They're expecting 200,000 to experience the more than 4 minutes of totality. That's the area where they're going to should see the longest period of darkness. Paige Ellenberger live in downtown Ennis. Good morning.
Hey, Brandon and Lauren, good morning. And I know in my last live shot, I was speaking to Marty, the city manager, who said that hotels here in Ennis have been booked out for months. I actually found somebody who booked his hotel room a year and a half ago. Spencer Rakely, thanks for joining us this morning. And I know your name is Spencer, but you introduced yourself to me as the astro nerd. Talk to me a little bit about what you do and what you've been doing since 1970.
Okay, the first eclipse I ever saw was 1970. I was a senior in high school. Me and a bunch of buddies got in a car, drove from Lancaster, South Carolina down to Florence, South Carolina, and saw the most wonderful thing that we had ever seen in our lives. And that is what hooked me.
And you said it hooked you, and I said why. And can you explain, if I have never seen a total solar eclipse, I know some people that will be here in Ennis haven't either, what is that experience like?
A big black hole in the sky. It's the blackest stuff you've ever seen, with white, fuzzy, cotton-looking thing, and it's dark from horizon to horizon, and there's a sunrise all the way around, 360 degrees, stars come out, and let me tell you what, it is a religious type of experience. It's kind of like seeing God.
And we spoke a little bit earlier, the cloud coverage here in Texas specifically, it's not looking good. I know some sunbeams are shining down on us right now. You've been in a similar experience in France.
Yes.
There's a little bit of optimism there. What do you want folks to know about today's eclipse?
Well, when we were in France, we were on the coast at the Channel, and it was socked in. It was socked in. People were crying. You know, everybody was, some of them were even packing up and leaving. And right about the time totality was due to start, the clouds broke a little bit, and we saw totality, and it opened up, and we saw great totality, and then it got sucked in again after totality was over.
But there is some hope there, and I know we don't have too much time left. You take photos of these eclipses as well, and I don't know if we're in video right now on live, but I do want to bring it out if we are and show Spencer's t-shirt. This is one of the photos he took. Can you explain to me why this is so special to you and why this is your 7th, did you mention, eclipse? 5th eclipse.
This will be the 6th. And this t-shirt, I snuck down to Aruba. I stayed like 12 hours. I didn't have a hotel, didn't have anything. I just set my equipment up, shot the pictures, got back on the plane, and came home. And that is one of the pictures, and I am proud of it. And as you can see, it's old, and it is kind of crinkling up and stuff, you know. But I wore it today for this special occasion.
Spencer, thank you so much for joining us. It was truly a pleasure getting to know a little bit of your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love Spencer's France story, Brandon and Lauren, about how the cloud coverage was so immense when he was spending time in the channel, and then right when totality hit, the skies part and they were able to see it. Fingers crossed it's happening today. The sun is shining on me this morning, so hopefully come the time of totality, it will be just like this. Fingers crossed.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign.
All right, that's what everyone hopes. Thank you so much, Paige. There's also a big watch party at the lawn at Clyde Warren Park on the north side of downtown Dallas.
Tens of thousands of people expected to attend that. Fox 4's Hannah Battah there live with a look at what we can expect. Good morning.
Good morning, Brandon, Lauren, and happy total solar eclipse day to the both of you. Yeah, here at Clyde Warren Park, people actually started coming out as early as 7 o'clock, but they're expecting up to 30,000 people coming out here. The program that's set to start at 11, but I mean, as you can see, it really hasn't stopped anyone. They're going to have so many fun things, and that includes a panel of scientists from Carnegie. And this morning, we're really in for a treat because we have one of the astronomers, Peter, here with us to talk about today's events. First, let's talk about the eclipse just in general. Give us a little overview of what we can expect today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really lucky that we've got a moon that's about the same size as the sun, and a moon that is spinning around us in a way where occasionally it'll line up and perfectly block the sun. So at around 12:30, we're going to start seeing a partial eclipse. Many people have probably seen those, where you get the moon slowly moving over the disk of the sun, and slowly though that will transition to more and more coverage, and eventually at around 1:40 p.m. in Dallas, it's going to get fully dark for about 3 minutes. And that 3 minutes is when the disk of the moon is perfectly covering the sun. You're like in the middle of like 360-degree sunset. It gets really cool. You're fully in the shadow. You can see, because they're perfectly the same size, you can actually see the outer corona of the sun, the outer very hot atmosphere, outer atmosphere of the sun, which you can never see normally. We'll be able to see planets. Like, it's fully dark to, well, fully twilight at least, if we're lucky on weather. The great thing about a total eclipse, though, is even if we have a few clouds, it's still going to get dark. Like, that's, that's going to still be very dramatic, even if we can't quite see all of this. But, we're fingers crossed that the clouds clear up a little bit. And
we'll cross that bridge when it comes. And I know you said most importantly, when we see that full corona, that's when it's safe to take off your glasses.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, very important in this whole lead up to have these eclipse glasses on that are allowing you to look at the disk of the sun. Because even if there's just a tiny sliver visible, that tiny sliver is still the same surface brightness as the rest of the sun. So it's still very damaging to your eyes. But you'll actually see through your eclipse glasses that sliver getting smaller and smaller. It disappears. You can't, like, during totality, you won't be able to see anything through those glasses. So very important to also know when the sun will pop back out the other side. But for those moments of totality, just enjoy your surroundings and don't be scared to try to catch a glimpse of this corona for those 3 minutes.
Very exciting. Well, Peter, thank you so much for being here and being a part of today's panel.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're very excited.
And I should mention too, Brandon and Lauren, it's Peter's first total solar eclipse. He's a part of this team of scientists that's been traveling around DFW, going to different schools. Obviously, today will be a part of this panel, speaking to all of the attendees here. But it just goes to show the excitement for so many people, from us novices like me to those experts that have been studying this their entire lives, to really take this whole moment in. We're really lucky to have this in our backyards. Reporting live in Clyde Warren Park, I'm Hannah Bataf for Midday.
Pretty cool that we can anticipate its arrival, huh? Fox 4, your solar eclipse headquarters.
All right. Thanks to Fox 4 Dallas for giving us another preview this morning as we get you ready. Here is again the path of totality, what we will be looking at all afternoon long right here and gearing up for that moment. But before the U.S. gets to experience it, Mexico does first there, and we already have a lot of people along with the media getting their spots ready for this moment in history, the total solar eclipse. Our coverage continues next on Live Now from Fox. Let's continue right now as we gear you up for today's solar eclipse. Our coverage continues.
We were all just kind of looking at the sky and kind of screaming and getting excited, oohing and eyeing. It's just something that until you experience it, it's really hard to imagine, but it's so great.
So it's different than looking at a photo of it or something like that.
Yes, because as we talked about earlier, it is kind of all the senses, right? So you're seeing the eclipse, but you're also hearing changes in nature. You're feeling the temperature drop and maybe the winds pick up a little bit. In fact, during the 2017 eclipse, in my experience, we had some clouds start to cover the sky just before totality. And then as soon as totality hit, those clouds dissipated and went away. So we got to see the changes on the atmosphere with our eyes as well.
And we covered this a little bit before, but can you tell us about some of the experiments that NASA is running and can only run during a total solar eclipse?
Yes. So let's talk about the sounding rockets. That's actually something that we haven't hit on yet. So we have 3 sounding rockets that will be launching from our Wallops Flight Facility, which is in Chincoteague, Virginia. And these 3 rockets will be launching. One will take off 35 minutes before totality. One will take off during totality, and then finally 35 minutes after. And what we're trying to study here is basically measuring directly the changes in the upper atmosphere where the rockets are going to reach. And we're doing it before, during, and after so we can see the change kind of in how it propagates. Now, where these rockets are launching, it's not actually going to be within the path, but as the moon and its shadow, as the shadow of the moon is moving across that path, it's having changes in the local atmosphere, and they kind of propagate out, almost like a boat going through the water and making a wake. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. So we're trying to see how those changes propagate out in the atmosphere.
So we've got a plane. Yep. We've got rockets.
We've got rockets.
Is there any other, instrument that NASA is planning to use to study the solar eclipse? I know last year for the annular, we had balloons. Is there anything like that?
There are balloon projects, in fact, led by various schools. We have a ton of balloons that will be launching, science balloons measuring all over. And so that's something that you see on the screen here. Some of the students getting ready for those balloon experiments. There's also radio telescopes in California that will be kind of measuring those radio waves coming from the sun, because any active regions that are occurring on the sun at that time, they're going to be covered up by the moon. So as the radio telescope is just looking at the sun and these active regions are covered, we can see it's turning them on and off, so we can see where the waves are coming from and where they are, and so to understand what the sources are, basically.
So we're studying this from, every single angle.
Everything that we can possibly do. Yes.
That is great. So our next question is from Happy Thumbs Gaming on YouTube, who wants to know, for the solar eclipse, will all of the United States be able to view it?
All of the 48 contiguous states will view some sort of eclipse. If you're in the path of totality, you'll have the opportunity to view that total solar eclipse. If you're not in the path of totality, then that's where you'll see a partial eclipse. So as long as you're within those contiguous 48 states, then yes, you can see it.
And you hit on this a little bit earlier, but why does this eclipse have totality for such a longer duration? You mentioned that this year is almost double from 2017.
Right.
Why is that?
Right. The moon's orbit actually isn't circular around the sun. It's elliptical. So it all depends on where the moon is in its orbit and really how close the moon is or how far it is from the Earth. And so for this one, compared to 2017, we're going to get that shadow just cast a little bit. The path will be a little bit wider. The shadow is going to really make that eclipse last a little bit longer, just based on where the Earth is with respect to the sun.
And Bert on YouTube, who wants to know, being so close to the equinox, why is the path of totality at such an angle with the equator?
Yeah, so it depends. The moon's orbit is tilted by 5 degrees. And of course, with Earth, we have seasons as well. So there's kind of this game that you have to play between, the orbit, right, of the Earth and the moon, and how the Earth is tilted, how the moon's orbit is tilted. And it changes kind of the geometry of where the eclipse occurs and how long and everything.
So earlier, we spoke a little bit about photographing a total eclipse with a cell phone. Now we have a viewer on YouTube who wants to know if pointing a telescope to the sun will damage the telescope during this event.
Right. We have filters for telescopes as well, solar filters that you put on your telescope so that you can safely view the eclipse. So that's what I would recommend, especially if you're in that partial eclipse area. Now for the total eclipse, that's when with our own eyes, we don't need to have the glasses on, and you don't need to have a filter for your eclipse. But it also depends on what you're trying to see. If you're trying to see that corona in a certain light, you might want a filter for that too, that allows you to take different types of images and different science as well.
Okay. For those just joining us, we have another question from Scientific Potato on YouTube, who wants to know, will animals under the total solar eclipse be acting weird?
They will be, yes. Nature changes during the eclipses. It gets confused. Nature basically thinks that the sun is setting and that it's nighttime, and that's where we kind of have animals getting ready to go to sleep, birds going to the trees, crickets that come out and chirp. So that is part of the whole eclipse viewing experience, is to really kind of see and hear nature around you as well.
You mentioned something too, I remember from the annular eclipse, something about spiders and their webs.
Oh, there is something with spiders. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I think it has to do with, their spiders coming up and their webs coming up and down too. That's right.
And so our next question is actually from a viewer on YouTube who wants to know, what advice do you have for anybody who might be experiencing this solar eclipse for the first time?
love this question. I would say really take a moment to embrace it and, experience it with as few distractions as possible. I mean, I know that we're all excited to take pictures of the eclipse to be able to share the experience. We're lucky that totality lasts for 4.5 minutes because you can, have a few moments of quiet to kind of see and feel and look around, but then you can also take the photo that you want as well. So I would just say, make sure you put down all your things and try to enjoy it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Gina, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today.
Okay.
But thank you so much for just joining us and for answering so many questions from our viewers. I am so excited to be sharing NASA's stage in Kerrville, Texas with you in just a few weeks.
Yeah, thanks to Hira. It was great being here today, and I'm really looking forward to our broadcast in Kerrville.
And thank you to everyone who joined us.
That was just NASA previewing a couple of weeks ago about the big event happening today. We'll check back in with NASA when they are live with their coverage. And again, we will bring you the latest, as always, on Live Now from Fox as we gear up for the total solar eclipse. You're watching Live Now from Fox, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox as we continue to bring you the latest here and take a look at this event happening just moments away from the big event coming up as we bring you the eclipse coverage only you can expect right here on Live Now from Fox, as it is setting up to be a spectacular day as well as an historic one as well. But let's continue our coverage here. I want to bring in another guest here on Live Now from Fox. This is John Piercy, CEO of Destination Niagara. And you guys are gearing up for this moment as well. Let's all talk about it. John, happy Eclipse Day.
Happy Eclipse Day, finally. It's hard to believe it's here after we've talked about it for multiple years.
Let's talk about the planning phase that you guys had for this event. What was the lead up for this big day?
Well, believe it or not, we even talked about this morning. We began this process, believe it or not, pre-COVID in 2019. We even purchased our glassware, or the glasses that people are wearing here in Niagara Falls. Back in 2019, we were fearful that they would run out. And so began back that far, 5 years ago. And so we've been in that planning process. It really has heated up the last 6 months to a year in getting city officials and our fire and police and everyone on board, and state parks police, everyone in preparing for today.
And here's a great shot right now of people getting ready at Niagara Falls. And what a moment this is going to be here in the making. And just how many people do you think are coming to your area to take part of this history?
Well, I wish we had a playbook. It's so hard to tell. The weekend was very strong. I have to say the weekend leading up was very strong, was very like a very strong 4th of July weekend. 4th of July is probably our busiest weekend of the year, being in the summer here in Niagara Falls. And so the weekend was a good indicator of how busy we'll be today, but very strong with people staying in hotels, joining us for the weekend. Weather was spectacular. I wish the weather today was as spectacular as Saturday or Sunday. We're even hoping there's some light cloud cover now. We're hoping those clouds are saying, possibly with our fingers crossed, that it will dissipate. Hopefully by between 2 and 4. You can see in the photograph there that there is some light cloud cover. If it's real light and high clouds, people will still be able to witness the eclipse. And of course, we'll go into total darkness at 3:18 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time here in Niagara Falls.
Yeah, and that is the moment that everybody is waiting for, where it's going to be spectacular, where it's going to get dim to total darkness and then reverse course on that. And
right, it starts at 2:05 for us. Starts that, it starts to dim. 3:18 for 3 hours, and again, I'll make it 3 hours 18 or 3:38, and then we'll go back and be full light again at 4:32. So it's a good 2.5 hour period that we'll have an eclipse period, if you will.
Yeah, so true, so true. And how will you be viewing it, as far as where will you be really positioned at?
It's a good question. Trying to talk to staff. I mean, I may even just walk out the door here of our offices. I'm hoping, though, believe the governor is here and some dignitaries. So hope to be over with our governor, Kathy Hochul, in a tent that's right there as you in this window here, almost where that camera situation is situated is where the governor has her VIP tent. So hope to get over and witness this historical moment with our governor and many other elected officials and so forth. But it's great just to be, with the crowds and to see the crowds. It really is starting to people are gathering now. I knew it was going to happen between 9 and 12 today. The mass of people that will be arriving. It's been gradual, which has been nice. So there hasn't been a complete lockdown of our roadways. Downtown Niagara Falls is very small, and so is the state park. So it's hard to fit in the thousands that we are expecting for this period this afternoon.
And wow, New York really has been busy these last couple of days, haven't they? I mean, it started off with Friday with the earthquake, and now we're rolling right into it on Monday.
Oh, let's hope there's not any, equation there, earthquakes and eclipses, and hope not. I really looking forward to a good day, and the families. Our visitor center here has been very busy, even since 6 a.m. We had people here as early as 6 a.m. We opened up at 6 a.m. So it's nice to see families, schools being closed, that families can really enjoy this together. One in a iconic wonder of Niagara Falls, and a historical moment in our time, especially for young kids, that they'll witness multiple times, hopefully, in their lifetime.
Yeah,
so it is great,
So true, and I'm glad to see that schools were letting out early or taking the day off, and I also like that businesses, like you see like grocery stores that are stopping for about an hour so that their employees can take part in that. I thought that was really great as well to really showcase that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of businesses said stay home, work from home, or I know some other businesses planned parties and food. I had to make sure that we had food here because we couldn't get food delivered for lunch at 12 or 1 o'clock. So I flooded our kitchen here with food even this morning to make sure that we could feed our staff, and since our staff all had to be present. But it is great to see companies having parties or allowing people to stay home. A lot of family parties and a lot of street parties in our community in Western New York here, which is fantastic to see. So it is a great day for our community and for Niagara Falls specifically.
It really is. Well, John, congrats on all the hard work today. It's all going to pay off, and I know you're looking forward to it as well as millions of others. But thanks so much for taking a little time here. We appreciate it, as always, on Live Now from Fox.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yep. Take care. And we will continue to bring you the coverage on Live Now from Fox and some of the sights and sounds from all over the country that are participating in this event. We are going to take a 2-minute break coming up here in moments. But again, our official coverage is starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. It is presented by Nissan, our great friends over there, and the total Solar Eclipse 2024. Oh, it is Eclipse Day, and we are just getting started. Stay right here with us. More to come in moments on Live Now. And we are gearing up for the moment here on Live Now from Fox, the total solar eclipse. Looking forward to it as always. Great shot there of Niagara Falls. Many people continuing to come there, get their spots. We're hoping that the clouds will pass so that they'll be really able to experience that moment of totality. We are going to take another 2-minute break and continue to showcase some more live events as well. All right here on Live Now from Fox, everyone. More coverage from NASA on this solar eclipse day.
Now picture this. A collective pause as people across the U.S. gaze upward to experience the wonder of the cosmos together. I can't wait. And today I'm joined by Dr. Gina DiBraccio, a sun expert who's going to walk us through how to prepare for the April 8th event. Gina, welcome.
Hi, Tara. Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much for being here. Now, can you kick off by telling our viewers a little bit about your role here at NASA?
Sure. So I'm the Deputy Director of the Heliophysics Science Division at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. That means I'm helping to oversee an organization of scientists that are studying heliophysics, which is the study of the sun and its influence on everything. So we're looking at the physics of the sun, but also how it impacts the Earth's magnetic field, the upper atmosphere, and really just understanding how the whole system works together.
That is great. And Gina, I'm so happy to be here with you again today.
Yes.
Gina and I had a blast hosting last year's annular solar eclipse, and I think it's safe to say we are thrilled to be back again for the total solar eclipse. Now, before we dive into some details, Gina, can you help clear something up for me?
Sure.
What exactly sets an annular solar eclipse apart from a total solar eclipse like this year?
Okay. So when a solar eclipse happens, the moon is going to cross in between the Earth and the sun. And when that happens, the moon's shadow is cast on the Earth, and we can look up in the sky and see it. Now, for an annular eclipse, the moon is going to be just a little bit farther away so that it doesn't completely block out the sun. And that's what you can see on the screen here. You're left with a ring of fire in the sky. Cool. Now, for a total solar eclipse, the moon is going to be closer to the Earth so that the sun is completely blocked. And that way, we can see the solar corona. It's that hot upper atmosphere of the sun that we can't see with our visible eyes on a day-to-day basis.
So it's really good to know that difference because, it's my understanding that in total solar eclipse, the safety tips then are a little bit different than an annular.
Right, exactly.
And so for our viewers at home, we have a special guest, someone you might recognize, who's here to let us know how to safely view the April 8th event.
Hi, eclipse enthusiasts. Lance Bass here, and I want to tell you how to protect those eyes and stay safe during a solar eclipse. During these celestial events, the sun, earth, and moon are in sync, creating solar eclipses. You can look directly at the sun during a total solar eclipse, but only when it's completely covered by the moon for a brief period known as totality. This is a really special moment. At all other times, you should wear eclipse glasses so that you don't say bye-bye-bye to your vision. Seriously. And eclipse glasses are not the same as regular sunglasses. No, they're not. Safe solar viewers are thousands of times darker and will have a specific certification that you should look for right here. Don't be a space cowboy and try to look directly at the sun. If you don't have eclipse glasses, you can use an indirect viewing method, like a pinhole projector. You can make one of these with something as simple as an index card with a hole, or a colander, or even your hands. With the sun at your back, you can safely project an image of the sun through the hole onto a nearby surface like the ground. It's gonna be me who is wearing my eclipse glasses, and so are you.
Okay, we are already seeing a lot of questions pouring in online from our viewers watching, so let's jump right into this Q&A. Now remember, if you're watching live, you can submit your own questions for Gina using the hashtag AskNASA or by posting them in the comments wherever you're watching today. Alrighty, Gina, our first question is from... Oh, it actually looks like, so we've got kind of a group question here.
Okay.
It looks like a lot of people watching are asking about notices that may have been issued in certain areas with guidance on how to prepare for crowds and preventative measures meant to reduce traffic. Could you give us a little bit more info on how to best prepare for April 8th?
Sure. So as you said earlier, Tahira, along the path of totality, we have about 31 million people.
We have a lot of people, which is so cool to think about.
So it's already crowded to begin with. And of course, we'll have people traveling into that area to make it even more crowded. So, just think of the preventative measures that you can take in case you get stuck in traffic. So make sure you have gas in the tank. Make sure if you have a battery operated car, you've charged up, you have some extra food and water with you. If there are traffic lines, just be prepared to have patience and wait a little bit for that.
Thank you, Gina. And so we have our next question is from a user on Facebook who wants to know what science will be done during the total solar eclipse.
Right. One of the things that we're most excited for at NASA is actually performing different science experiments during the eclipse. Now, a favorite that I like to talk about is that we're using NASA's WB-57 high altitude research jet to perform some experiments. So the jet,
cool.
the jet's going to fly across the path of totality so that it gets a little bit longer in totality than if you were just standing on the ground. And what that means is that the instruments on board are going to look up at the solar corona and take images so that we can study the composition of the corona, understand how particles are accelerated and charged, and also be able to study dust that is around the sun that we can't really understand when we look at just on a day-to-day basis either.
And this is only an experiment that can be done during a total solar eclipse? Is that right?
Right. So we do have instruments called coronagraphs that are essentially artificial eclipses, and they will block out the sun so that we can study the corona. But the way that the light bends around these coronagraphs, we can't actually get deep down into the corona itself in that lower part of it. So for the total solar eclipse that happens naturally, it allows us to get down into the lower part of the corona, which means this is one of the only times that we can, study this area of the sun.
That is amazing. And so we have our next question on Jordan, from Jordan on YouTube, who wants to know, why is it bad to view a solar eclipse directly?
Okay, thanks for that question, Jordan.
Yeah.
So we want to be really careful about eye safety during any eclipse or even on a day-to-day basis. You don't want to look at the sun so that you're not causing any permanent damage to your eyes. Now, the way that it works for a total solar eclipse is that during the partial phases, you need to have the proper safety viewing that we just heard about. You can have the eclipse viewing glasses, you can make a pinhole projector, and you need to use that to see the partial eclipse.
All right, everyone, you are watching live now from Fox. We want to continue our coverage here. We have a live event covering the eclipse today, so let's go to that right here on Live Now.
The moon and the earth to cooperate. Still, today is a special occasion, a truly awesome solar event that each of you will remember for years to come. I remember watching the 2017 eclipse. I remember to this day all the detail, but it's also part of a broader story about the elegance, the power, the wonder of nature, and the ingenuity of science and the scientists who seek to understand it for our mutual benefit. I hope what you see and what you hear today inspires you. Listen during the eclipse. Don't just look, listen. See how quiet it gets, see what the birds do. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the 2044 solar eclipse, one of the many, many school children here is actually running an agency like NOAA or the National Science Foundation or NASA, not to mention serving here as a scientist or engineer or more. I can only imagine the technology and tools that you school kids will be able to apply to understand solar eclipses in the future. With that, thank you for listening to me for a few minutes, and I'm delighted to turn it back over to Meredith. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. How fun, right? And we are just getting this party started. Yes, I love your enthusiasm because, all right, let's get some more energy. Come on, the sun needs to wake up. Wake up, sun! We want a show right here in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, so we can kick the totality path off. Oh, yeah. Look, it's working. So we're going to keep that energy all the way up to the path of totality. But we have so many great speakers to get to before we can start the official countdown. So I am very excited to announce our next speaker, Tim Patton, who is the National Science Foundation Deputy Assistant Director, Geosciences Directorate. Tim, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning. So I am so thrilled to be here today as a representative of the U.S. National Science Foundation. It's a federal agency that plays a really pivotal role in expanding our understanding of the universe and promoting the progress of science. NSF is grateful for its continuous collaboration and partnership with NOAA and NASA. This day of learning and fun is a prime example of interagency cooperation, showcasing our collective commitment to enhancing public understanding and appreciation of science. So I have a video for the next section if that can be shown. So moving on to the hot topic of the sun, which is the star attraction of this event, let me share a couple of cool examples of how NSF is leading solar research. NSF runs the NSF Daniel K. Inouye Solar Telescope. This is the world's most powerful tool for studying the sun. This telescope improves our understanding of solar phenomena that impacts and affects our planet and our daily lives. So, in fact, almost a year ago, this telescope produced this image, one of the highest resolution images ever taken of the sun, revealing this turbulent boiling plasma within Texas-sized cell-like structures all across the surface of the sun. During the time of totality of the eclipse, this telescope will be observing the solar corona. And that's not all. So the eclipse presents many other unique scientific opportunities for NSF-supported research. For example, the Airborne Coronal Emission Surveyor, or ACES, will fly along the eclipse path on the NSF National Center for Atmospheric Research Gulfstream 5 aircraft, which will be studying the infrared emissions of the sun's corona. And the Gulfstream 5 will be flying over Dallas around noon today. So not only that, but also roughly 40 citizen scientists teams from Southwest Research Institute will be making observations of the sun's corona as the eclipse crosses the country. Our work at NSF and with our partners at NOAA and NASA exemplifies the power of cooperating and furthering scientific discovery and education. By supporting projects like the NSF Inouye Solar Telescope and ACES, and by organizing public events like today's viewing event, we aim to connect you directly with the world of science. We're happy to have you, your friends, and your families here to experience the marvels of the cosmos together. Let this eclipse be an inspiration to continue to explore the unknown, making science a journey for everyone to share. And thank you so much, and have a great time today.
Thank you so much. Well, I've been seeing a lot more sun than this whole morning, so our kids are doing a great job with the energy. The sun has heard us. Yes. And we are not done just yet, because we still have so many guests for this event here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And I can tell you, as a meteorologist, it has been such hard work to get this forecast put together. Our friends at the National Weather Service here in Dallas-Fort Worth have been working so hard. In fact, I saw them at the media event yesterday, and they are just fine-tuning that forecast, but also putting that positive energy, right? Because we have such a historic event happening here in Dallas, and I know for the longest time that forecast wasn't looking good. But as we know, we call them the magic.
All right, everyone, we'll get you back out to Dallas here in just a little bit as school children getting ready. They are getting pumped with this pre-solar eclipse event happening there in Dallas. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for you as always. We do want to go to some breaking news, though, that we are following for you regarding actor Jonathan Majors. He has been sentenced to probation for assaulting his ex-girlfriend, but he is not going to jail here. So here is the updates as actor Jonathan Majors sentenced to probation in order to complete a year-long counseling program but avoided jail time today for assaulting his ex-girlfriend in a high-profile case that derailed the once promising star's career. The 34-year-old star of Creed 3 and other films had faced up to a year behind bars after he was convicted of misdemeanor assault by a Manhattan jury back in December. The judge also ordered Majors to complete an in-person batterers intervention program. He also asked to continue with his mental health therapy. Following the guilty verdict, Majors was immediately dropped by Marvel Studios, which had him cast as Kang the Conqueror, a role envisioned as the main villain in the entertainment empire's movies and television shows for years to come there. So that was denied, but not jail time for Majors. The conviction stemmed from an altercation last March in which Majors' then-girlfriend accused him of attacking her in the backseat of a chauffeured car, saying he hit her head with his open hand, twisted her arm behind her back, and squeezed her middle finger until it fractured there. So we'll again continue to track this story for you on Live Now from Fox. Stay right here with us. More coverage of the total solar eclipse coming up next on Live Now. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I want to continue to update you on the breaking news regarding actor Jonathan Majors, sentenced to probation but avoiding jail this morning for assaulting his ex-girlfriend in a high-profile case that derailed the once promising star's career. The 34-year-old star of Creed 3 and other films had faced up to a year behind bars after he was convicted of misdemeanor assault by a Manhattan jury back in December. The judge also ordered Majors to complete a 52-week in-person batterers intervention program. He also has to continue with his mental health therapy. Following the guilty verdict, Majors was immediately dropped by Marvel Studios, which had him cast as Kang the Conqueror, a role envisioned as the main villain in the entertainment empire's movies and television shows for years to come. The conviction stemmed from an altercation last March in which Majors' then-girlfriend accused him of attacking her in the back seat of a chauffeured car, saying he hit her head with his open hand, twisted her arm behind her back, and squeezed her middle finger until it fractured. Majors claimed the 31-year-old British dancer was the aggressor, flying into a jealous rage after reading a text message from another woman on his phone. He maintained he was only trying to regain his phone and get it away from his girlfriend there. So again, we'll continue to follow the story here for you, as always, on Live Now from Fox. And we are setting for a new hour right here, as always, on Live Now. It is 11 o'clock out on the East Coast, 8 a.m. on the West Coast, and we continue to bring you the sights and sounds from eclipse coverage going to be impacting Mexico, U.S., and Canada. And remember that this is the last time this century that Mexico, the U.S., and Canada all together will be taking part in this moment here. So what a truly spectacular way to start this Monday, start the work week off, and it comes with history in the making. So looking forward to it all. Do want to go back out to Fox 4 Dallas. They continue to showcase everything eclipse coverage.
Top of the Fox 4 studios in downtown Dallas. The views up here are absolutely spectacular. I know it's a little overcast right now, but we're going to check in with our weather folks because they say there's a pretty good chance we should have a pretty spectacular day.
So did you have much traffic getting in, or did you come in early enough?
You know what? I came in early enough. This weekend, I was out in Athens with our son on a Boy Scout camping trip, and you could see people starting already because that's one of those cities, you know, that's in the path of totality. The road signs warning people, please don't stop on the street. Yes. The eclipse is coming. You know, make sure you find a good spot. And we've got spots all across town today. I believe we have 10 different remote locations where we've got crews out that are kind of monitoring the day as it goes on.
All along that path of totality. Now, right to our right is the Perot Museum, and that's where we're going to catch up with Dan Henry and Blake Hansen. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
So far, so good.
We've got 7,000 people who are just beginning to stream in any minute now. Looks like they've already been lining up about an hour or so that they've been out here. They're ready to go. Programming really happening all day here. Food trucks, they got vendors, they've got bounce houses.
Music.
You're going to hear the music too, and they're going to be doing some presentations as well to get people ready for the science side of things here to get them interested and ready for the eclipse. Not that you really need to force people to get excited about something like this, Dan. And we're excited to see, hopefully see a good look at what is in the sky today.
Yeah, I've got one eye here on the satellite loop, and I'm hoping that time is our ally in this case, because obviously if you woke up early this morning, we had some low clouds. It's what we feared, that some of these low clouds would push in here. Now, we're hoping with time over the next 2 to 3 hours that the sun does its job and scours those out. Evan's been talking about that all morning long on good day and working some drier down. All right, this is a cool timeline. That's the moon's shadow. It is going to be moving at over 1,600 miles an hour. That's twice the speed of sound. We pause it right here. That's when the shadow is just entering the Dallas-Fort Worth area at 1:40. That's the time of totality, and it'll last about 4 minutes to 1:44, and then you see the moon shadow rocketing northeastward up through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana. There are over 30 million people in the path of totality, stretching from Texas all the way up into northern New England, and it's going to be quite a treat. This is something that is happening in our backyard and will not happen again for about 300 years, I think 2345. So this truly is a once-in-a-lifetime event, Blake.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking with scientists all throughout our coverage this afternoon. They'll be kind of breaking down what we can look for. So if you're watching from home, if you're going to one of those events, you can kind of get a primer before you leave, and also stream us on your phone as well, and we'll kind of walk you through what we can expect, and also the latest weather conditions, which everyone wants to keep an eye on. Steve and Heather, we'll send it back to you on the roof.
All right. Thank you much. I got to tell you, the people at the Perot are so fantastic. They've got a great event for the folks there this morning, which includes thousands of people. But they have been planning for this day for 5 years and have given out 1 million pair of eclipse glasses to people.
You know, when we talk about this event, and you heard Dan kind of allude to this, you know, back in 2017 during the eclipse here, you know, certainly it was during in the continental United States. But because of the way the path carves through the U.S. this year, more people are actually in the path of totality totality than ever before. So we've got kind of two things at play here. One, the number of people, but when it comes to duration of totality, there is no better spot than Ennis, Texas. That's where Peyton Yeager is. And by the way, some of the best pictures, I have to say, Peyton, out of Ennis, were you in the car on Facebook Live doing your makeup this morning. Big fan. Big fan.
Gosh.
He was telling me
I'm not usually up this early. I will. I'm not usually up this early. My shift usually starts at 2:30, but I had to come in. I was like, please put me on Ennis because this is the spot where I want to be. It really is the epicenter of this eclipse. You know, the longest time of totality is going to be in Ennis. So I was like, I have to be here. 4 minutes and 23 seconds. That is the time that it is going to be dark here in downtown Ennis. And we have really the best spot. We are downtown on top of a rooftop, beautiful weather, beautiful temperature. Behind me, you know, there's a stage. They're going to have live music, already food trucks. You know, we've been here since 7 a.m. and we're just now on air, but we've kind of seen this, you know, people start waking up, people start making their way out here. But, you know, Ennis is really, again, the epicenter. So thousands of people are expected to be here, and I brought my nifty glasses that are we're going to do this an amazing zoom on my face that I'm sure is just absolutely stunning on TV. So here's my Ennis glasses. They're super stylish. So I've kind of just been looking up. Oh, right now I can see the sun. So it's been going in and out. It's a little cloudy here. I know that we have been having our fingers crossed for this weather, but it's going in and out. And before I go, I mean, we're just up here hanging out. I brought my little NASA mug. I don't know if you guys can see this. So my mom worked at NASA for 35 years, so I know she's watching at home, and she's so excited to watch this. They're actually in Dallas to witness this, but I wanted to give her a little shout out. But we're going to keep you updated all day from here in Ennis. Back to you guys.
That's awesome. Hi, Peyton's mom.
Hi, she's watching.
Yeah, she's got a rooftop spot just like we do, but I'll tell you, one of the best spots in town as well is going to be the Dallas Arboretum.
Right.
I was just out there on Thursday. I was emceeing the launch of their Cool Thursdays.
Boy Scout events.
Busy. I got to keep up with you, Heather Hayes. Come on. I was out there for their Cool Thursdays concert series at the Arboretum that they do, which is like the coolest thing you could do in the spring and summer. And they had everyone out on the lawn. I know they've got a lot of national media out there, but they also have Fox 4's Davidson Tendry, who is live standing by for us.
Hey, Steve. Yeah, I know you said that you were emceeing that event last week. The concerts here typically happen on the lawn. There's a stage at the bottom, but today the show is not on the lawn. It's really in the sky. You're going to have about 8,000 people on this lawn filling it up this afternoon. The funny thing is, while they have this beautiful view of White Rock Lake behind us, you can probably see that everyone's starting to face this direction. That's because the sun is actually facing this way. It's starting to peek out right now as we speak. So we've been seeing people rolling in and out throughout the morning. Some people local, some people from out of state, some people from out of the country. We spoke with a woman just a few minutes ago who flew in all the way from Paris, not Paris, Texas, Paris, France. Quickly, I want to bring in the CEO, Sabina Carr of Dallas Arboretum. So I know you're going to have your hands full today with all these people, but are you going to have 4 minutes to really just breathe and take it all in when this actually happens?
Yes. Well, welcome to the Dallas Arboretum, and I do hope to have at least that time to be able to see it like everyone else around the world. It's exciting.
And obviously the sun is peeking out right now, so
everyone get your glasses ready.
So we're hoping for the best over here. You've seen people coming from all over the place. You think this is the best spot in Dallas to see it, right?
Well, it's definitely the most beautiful spot in Dallas at the Dallas Arboretum. And now that the sun is coming out, you never know. The clouds could roll out just as quickly as they rolled in this morning. So let's cross our fingers.
You never know. You never know. But like we said, 8,000 people. Unfortunately, it is sold out right now, but plenty of other places, obviously, to see it. Send it back to you guys right now in the studio.
Yes, no direct flights from Paris, Texas to the Arbor to Dallas, but certainly from Paris, France. Okay, so we've got crews all over the place, but probably the woman of the hour here is going to be Ali Turiano.
Right. So, Ali, we've really seen it was much cooler. Steve and I were having this conversation when we first got on the roof here. I was like, oh, it's so cold. He's like, it's warm. I'm like, it's cold. So we had the back and forth. But I do feel like temperatures are warming up a bit now.
They are, but it's because of that south wind. And the south wind is also bringing in this low cloud cover that we were afraid of. Now, there are some spots on our Fox 4 views that have some breaks in the clouds. There was a little bit more blue up in Lantana just a few minutes ago. But notice it's a little patchy in a few spots. So the big question will be, does this cloud cover scour out in time for the eclipse? Now, for some of us, Yes, I think that's going to happen. The question is, will we be able to say exactly where? Probably not. So it's pretty much a coin flip for you. Now, I will tell you, the high clouds that have been off to the north and west, that's all that's there. So that actually is a better visibility of this eclipse. But you see the thicker cloud cover hanging out across Collin, move through Dallas County, Rockwall, also into Ellis County. Those are the spots that we are just dealing with these overcast conditions. There is some movement here, so that is great. And as mentioned, as we heat things up, yes, there will be some breaks, but I still think we're going to average partly to mostly cloudy sky for a lot of North Texas through the day. This is one of our high-resolution computer models as we begin seeing that eclipse. Of course, here is our area of totality. So conditions may start out decent, but then as the afternoon goes on, more cloud cover will be a possibility. It's just very tough to say exactly where that thicker cloud cover is going to be. Now, I will tell you, once we finish the eclipse, then all eyes will turn to our threat for strong to severe storms. So we've got to talk about that too. Yes.
All right, that is Fox 4 Dallas doing a great job of getting things started this morning as we gear up for the total solar eclipse. Let's take another 2-minute break here on Live Now from Fox. Stay right here with us. Always more to come. Thanks so much to all our great viewers continuing to watch with us on Live Now from Fox, as today is Eclipse Day. So happy Eclipse Day to all of you that are watching. Do want to continue to show you more coverage. And look at this right now, getting a good reminder to wear Eclipse glasses and viewers for today.
Put the glasses on, look up at the sun, then please look back down again before you take those glasses
down,
off.
Up,
so
down.
Just remember the down, up, down.
Up, down.
Everybody say it for me, down, up, down.
Up, down. We can do it all down. Okay. Hey, where's my kids? Are they having a snack or something? Down,
He's doing
up,
an interpretive dance for down, up, down.
Up, down. We
Good
got
job,
this.
Man.
Down, up, down. Woo! Thank you. He knows what to do. Follow him.
So if you also, for those of you at home, if you don't have Eclipse glasses, if you happen to know a welder, you can get Shade 14 welder's glass, and that makes a perfectly fine way to look at the sun. We've got a pair of welder's glass in the end of a cereal box, so that's the other thing you can use the cereal box for, is you take the lens in, and then it makes a little viewer for you to look through, just like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, when the sun comes back out, then we can see it. Oh, see, I can't work this any better than I can my planetarium. So the sun's been peeking in and out. Hopefully we'll get to see it here in just a little bit. But if we don't, the good news is it's not the last eclipse ever. The bad news is you'll have to wait until, what does it say, 2040?
Well, no, this is just 2021 to 2030. I don't see it in the U.S.
Yeah, there'll actually be some partial eclipses visible up until then. But let's go to the next one. So around 2045.
There we go.
There's the one that's going to go directly. It's going to go a little bit north of where we are today. So it's going to go pretty close to us. So it'll be
another
a while
20
before you can
years.
see the next eclipse. So it's not your last chance. But I think we need to send a little positive energy up into the sky and try to blow away the clouds. So let's all try to blow away the clouds. So look,
blow away.
Generally
blow
look.
Away.
All right, we want to go back out to Fox 4 Dallas coverage of the big total solar eclipse today.
To file in already. You can tell. People are excited.
They are filing in. And I want to say, when Dan saw the sun about 5 minutes ago.
I nearly jumped out of my seat. Saw another glimpse of it, too.
It's going to be that way all day. We're going to be looking at the skies and hoping for the best. We've mentioned we've got crews all throughout the area covering this, and we want to cover Tarrant County as well. I want to get to our Dion Anglin, who's at the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History. Dion, how's it going out there?
She's in the sunshine there.
Hey there, Blake and Dan. It is going great here in Fort Worth. I'm at the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History, and the courtyard here, I can tell you, we can show you, is already starting to get busy. We've got people that are showing up with their kids already, and they are checking out what is going to be possible here. And I'll tell you, activities galore. We've got educational opportunities galore. There's a full day on tap here planned at the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History. This is also U.S. Navy Week in Fort Worth, and so the U.S. Navy Band will be here pretty soon. They'll be playing music up until about maybe a half hour before totality, and then they'll take a break, of course. They'll come back and wrap up with more music for the folks here. There is so you can see the food trucks in the distance there. There's just a lot going on already. There's a mad scramble just to make sure that they have everything in place, and they're welcoming folks already. I can see just off in the distance, people are still starting to arrive. They're being handed pamphlets and kind of an agenda of what to look forward to today. And cloudiness, we're not going to worry about it. We've had a little bit of cloudiness, but as you mentioned, it is very sunny right now. And if we do happen to have any issues, you might already be able to tell I've tried with my outfit to give the sun a little bit of help. So we're gonna leave it there and just we're optimistic. That's the very latest live. Back to you guys.
I love that positive attitude.
Thanks,
there.
Dion. You have to be, will and hope the sun to stay with us, participate with us today.
Yeah, it's going to take a while for people to filter in here to get through security, but we are expecting 7,000 people here at the Perot. Among those 7,000, there have gathered at least a couple dozen world-renowned astronomers, and we're going to be talking to a few of those throughout the course of our live coverage here. They're going to tell you some incredible things, the science, the numbers. I love that kind of stuff when you really delve into that in terms of the eclipse itself. So we're looking forward to those interviews as well coming up.
And speaking of one of the places that the scientists have gathered, one of those places is the UT Arlington's planetarium, and that's where we find our own Alex Boyer, who's going to be speaking with them and some of the folks that are gathered there today. Alex, how's it going?
Hey guys, it's going good, especially now. I mean, what a difference a few minutes make. You know, I had my hoodie on just a few minutes ago. Now it's come off. The sun is starting to peek out here in Arlington, and we're hoping that the good vibes continue. You know, it's pretty quiet right now out on the quad here in front of the UT Arlington Planetarium, but that's all going to change in just a couple of hours. Right now, what you're looking at is some of those high-powered telescopes that are being set up in the quad here where folks can get an up-close look at the eclipse. And also there's some astronomers and other scientists who will be walking around able to chat with onlookers about what we'll be experiencing throughout the day. Also here, you can see in the distance there, we have the student campus radio station. They're going to be broadcasting live here all day. So even if you're walking around campus, not right here in front of the planetarium, you can still get a feel for what's going on. There's also 10-minute tours at the planetarium. So if you want to come out here and enjoy the day, you'll be able to check that that out as well. We, of course, will be here throughout the day and let you know how it goes. Back to you.
Thank you so much.
So one of the things that's interesting to point out, obviously, listen, weather is the big story of the day. If not for eclipse, it would be the biggest story of the day, and certainly will be after the eclipse is over. But it's important to note, I mean, you saw Dion's live shot, sunshine and shadows, Alex's live shot, sun. So really, depending on where you are, just because it's sunny now or just because it's cloudy now, doesn't necessarily mean those conditions are going to be sustained. So the advice today is don't try to chase the sun. If you've got a spot, stay where you are, let Mother Nature do her thing.
Well, and two things to add to that. Number one, wherever you are, you need your glasses. You've got to have your solar eclipse glasses. Yes. And your point about stay where you are, we heard from Dan and Blake, 7,000 people at the Perot.
Right,
They're expected.
Just over here.
And then Clyde Warren Park is right there, and you've got the Arboretum as well. So there are thousands of people who are now on their way to their spots to stay.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by how little traffic we had this morning.
Well, it was like 7 a.m.
Well, and even all through Good Day when we were covering traffic, right? There wasn't really anything major.
Right.
But listen, folks, as we kind of now get into the meat of, we're less than 2 hours away from kind of the beginning stages of all this happening.
Right.
If you're in your spot or not in your spot, get to it and stay there. You don't want to be out on the roads. We're going to be back on the other side of the break with a closer look.
All right, everyone. We will continue to check in with Fox 4 Dallas and so much more coming up on the total solar eclipse pre-coverage right here on Live Now from Fox, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to Live Now from Fox. We do have some new video. This was Jonathan Majors leaving the courtroom moments ago after actor Jonathan Majors has been ordered to complete a year-long counseling program but avoided jail time today for assaulting his ex-girlfriend in a high-profile case that derailed the once promising star's career. The 34-year-old star of Creed 3 and other films had faced up to a year behind bars after he was convicted of misdemeanor assault by a Manhattan jury in December, but the judge not granting jail time, just probation. He said Majors must complete a 52-week in-person batterers intervention program in Los Angeles, where the actor lives. He also has to continue with the mental health therapy his lawyers say he's been participating in. Majors faces a year in jail if found in violation of those terms, which also included a no-contact order with his former girlfriend. Majors, dressed in all black and accompanied by his girlfriend, actor Megan Good, declined to address the court and left the courthouse without speaking to reporters, but his lawyer said he will abide by the judge's sentence but maintains his innocence and plans to appeal there. So we'll keep an eye on that for you as always on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thank you again for joining us on Live Now. We do want to continue our solar eclipse coverage as we get you ready for the big event. And let's go back out to our friends over at Fox 4 Dallas, always doing such a great job of previewing today's big day.
That we're working with 1,000 Dallas Independent School District kids. We have a NASA advisor, Dr. Nicholas Gross from Boston University, that will be here as well. A lot of giveaways from our friends from the Mavericks. A lot of education content, but what an opportunity to witness here on the future home of Harold Simmons Park on the Ronald Kirk Bridge. It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be a great day, not just for looking, but also learning with our DISD students.
Absolutely. You know, this doesn't come around every day, and so we have a special opportunity to celebrate this with our school kids from a STEM education point of view. But yeah, you know, we're just hoping the sun comes out. The word is that the sun will be out at 12 o'clock, so fingers are crossed.
Well, we're looking for a lot of cosmic miracles today, including the sun peeping through the clouds, right?
That is correct. That is correct.
Tony Moore is the CEO of Trinity Park. Again, a lot of students going to be here today. People are coming and marking their spots, and everybody's got an eye to the sky, hoping that the sun does break through and that we get to see, you know, what's going to happen. Total darkness right here in the path of totality this afternoon. We'll be here. We might post up here. We might move around to other locations, but it's going to be a great, memorable day for everyone. Back to you.
All right, Sean, thanks so much. And one of the great things about us being here at the Pro is that we're going to have scientists we're going to be talking with all day. We've got Dr. Jeff Rich. He was the outreach coordinator at Carnegie Science. A lot of members from Carnegie Science are down here today to kind of help teach us about what we're seeing and get everyone excited. So first of all, thanks so much for joining us. First of all, I wanted to ask you, you have actually seen a couple total solar eclipses. I've talked with some people who come into town, and everyone describes it kind of as this visceral experience. How would you describe kind of being able to witness that?
It really is. That's one of the things I'm most excited about, is for all of the people who've never seen a solar eclipse before. I'm just jazzed because it's so hard to describe, so hard to put into words. I saw one person just last week trying to tell people what's it going to be like. They said it's like the sky is broken. It's such an unusual but like beautiful and natural wonder, really.
Yeah. Obviously, it's weather dependent, so we are keeping our fingers crossed that at least these low clouds scatter out. What do you think we're going to see if there's high clouds partially obscuring it?
If there's high clouds, it depends on the thickness, so it will get dark. The eclipse still happens whether there's clouds there or not. I'm hoping for clouds poking through, especially those high clouds. When it's a little lighter, you'll be able to see the sun through them. Someone said to me, I haven't seen a cloudy eclipse, but that you can actually maybe see the moon's shadow moving across the clouds as it approaches, which would be really interesting. I've never seen that before.
Awesome. And there's so much great science that happens during these eclipses. You know, important, scientific discoveries in the history, but there's so much still to learn, and people post it up all over the country. Can you kind of put into perspective of just how important this is as a moment to capture that brief window in time and learn?
So, I mean, I love something like a solar eclipse because it kind of brings us all together. It's a shared experience. Scientifically, it's an opportunity for astronomers to learn about a part of the sun that's really hard to observe, the corona, the outermost layer, that when the moon completely blocks the sun, you can observe it in a way that is only possible during a solar eclipse. One of the really cool things is there's a lot of citizen science around eclipses, so they're asking people to collect photos all along the eclipse path. This is a NASA project. You'd have to look it up, but it's really cool. So they're going to see how things change as the eclipse moves along the United States.
All right, Dr. Jeff Rich, thanks so much for joining us and sharing your expertise. The sun has peeked out while you've been talking. So
beautiful.
We'll take that as a sign of good luck. And we'll set it back to, I believe we're going to be sending it back to Steve and Heather for now.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
You know, well, and I can see it right up above us. The clouds are starting to part a little bit. They're certainly moving. Let's just hope new clouds are not moving in to replace them. There is going to be some traffic, though, moving in onto our roads. Chip Wagner joining us. It's not very often you have the morning off on good days. day, Chip.
Right.
But now the real work begins. What are we looking at?
Most certainly. And right now, the good news is, Steve and Heather, to get to your destination, wherever it is that you've decided you're going to view this event, it's pretty easy to at least get there. Ennis, for example, down where Peyton is, it's okay on I-45 right now in all directions. Highway 287 coming over from the Waxahachie area, or just staying over in Waxahachie on I-35E in that part of Ellis County is pretty easy right now. There was an earlier incident along I-20 that I have circled in the westbound direction around Lancaster Road, but the remnants of that activity is over on the right shoulder of the roadway. You can make out that one vehicle there, and that's it. No real big delays. You'll see signs all over the place like this one that happens to be on this camera shot. No stopping on the roadway to take a look at the eclipse. That's against the law, and that's my biggest concern. No doubt about it right now is that somebody stops on the roadway, causes a slowdown, and then you have an 18-wheeler coming up hauling 80,000 pounds worth of whatever and can't stop in a timely manner. So again, no stopping on any roadway. Get to where you need to be. You have some time right now to do it. Over in downtown Dallas, trying to move over around the Woodall-Rogers interchange where Blake and Dan are, it's easy to get into that area right now, but it's going to get worse before it gets better, obviously, in the next hour to an hour and a half. So now's a good time to go do that. I-30, if you're going to be in the Rockwall area, thought maybe around the Lake Ray Hubbard Bridge might be a pretty place to see something. And right now, it's pretty easy to get over into that area, and there's not really any time delays right now going through that construction zones because it's obviously inactive. And for drivers up in Collin County, haven't seen anything unusual around 75 Central and the George Bush Turnpike.
All right, Chip, thank you. So that's one of the things that we were talking about when I came in this morning. Chip's like, I'm so worried about people just stopping because they do it for fireworks or bad weather or the eclipse.
Well, and we've seen that actually in other areas where the total eclipse has happened, where I believe last time there was a 13-hour delay.
Right.
Because think about it, if all lanes of traffic just stop for 5 minutes, the chain reaction of the buildup of that, and then you've got to unwind
a lot
that.
to get through that.
Well, and also, again, we should really point out that there are two big stories today. First of all, of course, our eclipse coverage, but there's also going to be the chance for significant weather after this is all over. So if you're going somewhere, make sure it's somewhere that you can either stay or that you can easily get back from when it's all done.
All good points. Okay, and so we're going to be out here with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon through totality. We're going to go to a break, but we want to look at the Ron Kirk Bridge. This is where Sean Rabb is talking to folks. He has talked to people already from all over the country.
That was just some of the coverage from Fox 4. Let's continue with more coverage here on Live Now from Fox.
Overall, we'll have new and diverse vantage points forward, but you can be part of any of these three launches. You can watch virtually. Each one of you has a unique opportunity for this, and you can find out how to participate on the NOAA website, or you can come to the launch. We'd love to have you in Florida, and where we're launching the 2 NOAA missions, and be on the lookout for the ESA mission. Beyond these 3 missions, we are working on our next generation satellite constellation, the Space Weather Observatory.
All right, it looks like this event is going to other space adventures that are coming up. So let's take a 2-minute break. Stay right here with us. More coverage coming up in moments. Back to all our great viewers watching with us right here on Live Now from Fox as we get you ready for the big total solar eclipse. Do want to go back out to Fox 4 Dallas coverage here on Live Now.
Shout out to the folks joining us on Fox Local, at fox4news.com, and of course right here on Fox 4.
So I said hi to Peyton's mom earlier. My mom's in Houston, so hi, Mom.
Is she watching on Fox Local?
She is.
There you go.
It's super glad to, be able to say hi to my mom this morning. Okay, so Peyton Yeager is in Ennis, and Peyton, there are a lot of reasons for folks to come to Ennis in April. The Bluebonnet Festival is one of them, but I tell you what, between the Bluebonnet Festival and the eclipse, great time to be there today.
Yeah, April is really a big month for the city of Ennis, but I have been talking to families, for months now, the weeks leading up to today, and I was lucky enough to be in contact with a family from New Zealand. They came all the way here to Ennis just for this total solar eclipse. I also spoke with a couple from England. They came over here. They're staying with family in McKinney, so I want you guys to take a look at this story right here.
Really close. We've been waiting over a year for this.
The Sharp family from New Zealand is flying 14 hours to see a once-in-a-lifetime moment that will last a little more than 4 minutes.
Fingers crossing that it's all going to be perfect.
The plan began back in 2019. During a layover in Houston, the couple met a man from Ennis at a hotel bar. A few beers later, the families clicked and kept in touch.
Ellie and John just stayed in touch for the next 5 years.
Just on and off, send a message and be like, hey, how's it going? What are you up to?
The Sharps always longed to see a total solar eclipse, so they booked their trip to Texas. Now the couple, along with their 15-year-old son, Ben, will be staying with the Ennis family in April, where the total eclipse will last nearly 4.5 minutes. Ben will miss a week and a half of school for his first time to the U.S. We asked him how his classmates are feeling.
Are they jealous or do they care?
They're really jealous.
Everybody wants to go out of New Zealand and go and experience the world.
While the Sharps will witness their first eclipse, this will be the third for Jill and Stephen G. of England. Most recently, they traveled to Idaho back in 2017 for the total solar eclipse. On April 8th, the G's plan is to stay with family in McKinney.
The feeling it's like magical. You can't understand it if you've not experienced it. And it was just so powerful, the way that the whole world goes kind of quiet and still. But it wasn't as long totality as you're going to have this time. It wasn't as long, so this will be an even better one. We hope, if the weather's okay.
We wanted to know if there's anything they will do differently this time around.
I think I spent too long looking through the camera and taking pictures. And I just want, having got pictures from the last time, I just want to experience that aura of stillness, of the temperature dropping. And that was.
Yeah, because it does go cold.
It was to the atmosphere connected with this very infrequent event.
So I am joined by the Sharp family all the way here from New Zealand. They just showed the story that we did, and now you're here, and I saw them down below from the balcony. I was like, wave and then come up here. So how has your time in Texas been?
Amazing. Absolutely friendly people. Everyone's super welcoming, and it's been absolutely incredible.
So right before we went on, she was like, it's so hot here. This is nothing. This is breezy. What has been the coolest thing you've seen so far? In Ennis, Dallas, wherever? I saw you went to Buc-ee's.
We did go to Buc-ee's. We don't have that in New Zealand. We don't have a lot of things that you guys have here. So it's quite cool to see all the different things.
All right, so that is just some of the coverage from Fox 4 in Dallas. Let's keep things moving right now on Live Now. Let's go out to some of the coverage. Fox 29 in Philadelphia. They're actually in New York right now, so let's give a look to their coverage here. As always, you're watching Live Now from Fox.
have coming up there later, they have a famous lilac festival that goes on for 10 days. We used to cover that when I worked up there for like almost...
Maybe I'll stay.
It's in May. It'd be lovely. I can send you back. It's still awesome.
Did I
won't be
tell
sunny.
you that those glasses are not just for show? You can walk under there during the eclipse and be safe.
I thought that they were the real deal. I thought that that might be the case.
Yeah.
That's really cool. We'll get a picture with that. That's your Instagrammable moment right there with the big glasses.
Absolutely.
All right, Mike, you've been doing a great job.
Starting to fill in.
All right, it is filling in.
No, thank you.
All right, what are we going to go to at 11:40? I think we're having a lot of fun streaming. Let's check in with Hank Flynn. Hi, Hank. And you're at our world-famous Franklin Institute.
You couldn't pick a better place to be, honestly, in the weather, Karen. Honestly, it just gets better and better. We're on 95, 96th percentile for weather out here today. Whatever eclipse there is to see, we're going to get every ounce of it here in Philadelphia. And how are we going to know? We're going to be with the man that everybody wants to talk to, Derek Pitts, the chief astronomer here at Franklin Institute and the Fields Planetarium. Welcome and thank you so much. He and I have been talking for 10 minutes about this. What do we hope to learn from this eclipse that we've never learned before, and how will we get there with it? Our tech is so much better now. Visually, we're going to see this in a way we've never seen them.
Well, between the visual information that we'll pick up and the other scientific data we'll pick up, we'll learn a little bit more about how our atmosphere reacts to a situation where there's less sunlight coming in this case during an eclipse. The other thing we'll be able to learn more about is how the sun's atmosphere, the corona, behaves at different points in the sun's 11-year cycle of activity.
Now, the corona, it's not just for our own scientific interest. The corona of the sun, we talk about things like sun flares and sunspots. These have direct impacts on the weather that we feel here on planet Earth.
Well, we know that the sun is a direct influence on the Earth's weather. To what degree we can pick out whether it's flares or prominences or sunspots, and even the activity in the corona, we still have more parts of the puzzle to try to figure out, and satellites like the ones that are being launched today are going to help us understand that.
It's amazing, and guys, 2024 being what it is, Derek tells me that millions of pictures are going to be taken from this, most of them databased in different ways and different things happening with those. From that we will learn, but also the curiosity with me, we're going to get pictures from space of Earth during the eclipse. What will Earth look like from space?
This is a really interesting view when you look at an eclipse from space. What it's going to look like is it's going to look like a brown dot on the surface of the planet. But really, I should say a brown circle, because it's not going to look like a little dot. It's going to look like a large diffuse circle covering the area where the eclipse is passing.
It won't look like a band. It'll just be the circle where the shadow is for that moment.
Right, that's right, that's right. So don't expect it to look like a black dot moving along a narrow strip. It'll look like a wide circle. And you'll see these pictures probably tomorrow, immediately.
Guys, it's this expertise that makes him the busiest man in Philadelphia today. I'm going to hog him while I can. Tell us from your expert standpoint, we got 3 NASA rockets, not just one, but 3 of them. And I've seen them. They're smaller, faster. They're missiles, really, filled with sensors and instruments on them. What do we hope to learn from them? I think we did this the last time they went up, but again, the tech has changed so much.
Well, the thing is that the more data we can collect about how the atmosphere behaves under changing conditions, the better we can understand our own environment and our own atmosphere. And this is really important for us today, to be able to understand our atmosphere, because there's so many different things that are affecting the atmosphere. Our understanding of it will allow us to better take care of the atmosphere. So all of the rocketry stuff that's happening to get sensors into the atmosphere, even to study the corona, all help us to better understand our atmosphere.
Guys, we're always smarter for conversation with Derek Pitts. Last quick question. Yeah. The child inside of you must be flipping out, man. Today's game day. What a great day. You must be really jacked up.
Hey, look, this is an awesome experience. Sure. No matter how you look at it, no matter whether it's 90% or 100% or 50%, it's an awesome science experience that's happening. Like the mechanics of our universe, we can see it right here in front of us. So everybody ought to take part in this.
It's awesome, and we're all going to participate in it today, whether we like it or not. Philly's going to be part of this whole eclipse experiment today. We'll see how it goes. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, Hank.
Wait, Hank, don't let him go. I have a question. So I've seen conflicting information. Can we we all want to take pictures on our smartphones. Is there a way to do that safely?
What's your advice for smartphone photography here? What's a safe way to do it?
Filter over the lenses. you have to have a filter over the lenses. You can't take a photograph like a selfie with the camera pointed at the sun and your back to the sun. You got to have a filter over your camera lenses.
Can you get a pair of Eclipse glasses and hold them over your iPhone?
You certainly can do that. Yep.
There you go, Karen.
I knew he'd have a solution. He always has like the easy solution. Exactly. Thank you guys. Yeah. I really appreciate that. Also, if you have questions for us, you can use our hashtag. We'll go with Fox29 Good Day. After show. Yeah, good day. So we'll look for those because we'd love to answer your questions because I know you have a lot. We certainly have a lot, and we have so much more in store. We're going to go around the country and take a look as people get ready for this eclipse. We'll be right back.
Right, so Fox 29 is definitely gearing up, and we will have the coverage again with more from Dallas as well as Philadelphia coming up here in moments. Stay right here with us. A great shot of Niagara Falls right now as people continue to line up to take their spots. We are just getting started for you. Total solar eclipse 2024. Stay right here with us. More to come in moments. Welcome back, everyone, to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Pace, gearing you up for the total solar eclipse. Millions and millions of people from across the country, they have traveled their way to the areas of totality, and coming up in just a little bit, we'll continue to feature some of those cities as well. But again, we want to continue to showcase the many, many people that have geared up for this event and continuing to come out really in droves. So what we are going to do is talk a little bit about the weather situation coming up in just a little bit as well. We'll be getting updates from our teams across the country as well to see just, you know, some areas are just going to be so cloudy, that pesky weather on this eclipse day. We'll be keeping an eye on all of that for you as well. But let's go back out to our friends over Fox 29 Philadelphia. They are doing some coverage, and they have Robert Ray in Indiana right now with Fox weather gearing up for today.
Way to experience this total solar eclipse that will happen at 3:06 p.m. this afternoon, and we're lucky. These skies, as you see, and all the people are just gorgeous. Temps about it'll be about almost 70 degrees by the time this eclipse occurs in the path of totality. And you know what? If you want to tune in to some pretty cool immersive coverage, let me tell you why you should into Fox weather. We we have got this camera, okay? Lloyd Alford is behind the camera shooting me. During the eclipse, I'm going to have my eye trained up into the eclipse as the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, and that's what creates that total eclipse, the totality. We've got a solar filter on here, and I mean to tell you, the shot is as tight as it's going to get. It'll take up your entire screen, and you'll be able to experience it as I'm sort of giving you a play-by-play like a sports announcer would of the actual eclipse, and you'll have many people looking up into the sky. Hopefully they'll have protective glasses like this on, and they can look up so they don't damage their eyes, and they can see this celestial event. Darkness will fall. The birds may kind of quiet down, and there will be just a sense of peace. If it's anything like 2017, the previous total solar eclipse, that will be the aura and the feeling here. Amazing when you think about it. 15 states that'll be in the totality, over 30 million people. We'll see this about 115 miles wide is the totality. And the great news is all lower 48 states will experience some of this phenomenon. The total solar eclipse. Won't see it again in the U.S. for another 20 years. Look up and be safe. What a day. Good way to start off the week for a Monday, right?
I have questions. So, Robert, where are you from?
I'm originally from Chi-Town, grew up in Connecticut as well, but live down in Atlanta.
There you go, all over. And so have you seen the eclipse back in 2017, last time around?
I did. I was in Hopkinsville, Kentucky for that total solar eclipse, and then covered the annular eclipse in San Antonio this past October. So, yeah, I think in total this is my 5th eclipse as a professional TV crazy man.
Can you rate them? How about that? Let me have you rate them. Which ones were the best and why?
I think Hopkinsville was pretty amazing. I wasn't expecting at that point the darkness that fell upon where I was in the totality. And I was shocked at how still everything became. And the sky, almost like a grayish, bluish tint. Was not expecting that kind of feel. And I got to tell you this too, people get very, very emotional during this. I wasn't one of those people. I was just in awe of, you know, our atmosphere and the moon and the sun. But there are people that this becomes kind of a Zen moment for them. And I think that's why we're seeing, you know, so many people here at the Indianapolis Speedway. Really amazing that there are spots all over the country like this that people will be able to see. I mean, you guys are going to get a great glimpse of this as well in Philly.
Heck yeah, we will. We're looking forward to it. Robert, thanks a lot, and thanks for answering my questions. I'm a very, you know, curious person, so thank you. And we'll probably check back with you, of course, over the course of this day. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right, some of the coverage there from Fox 29, always doing such a great job as well. Let's go out right now to Fox 4 Dallas as they continue to give the updates and preview of today's big event as well.
From Alaska to Hawaii to see one of these. Let's go ahead and roll his interview. He's got a fantastic perspective on these.
Obviously, weather is hugely critical for us to see this. Talk a little bit about, you know, how a clear sky might compare maybe to a partly cloudy sky in terms of how that would impact the eclipse itself for watchers.
So I will tell you that unless it's solidly overcast like we had in Antarctica, if you have a light cloud cover, if you have like a cirriform cloud cover or even a mid-deck cloud cover, you're still going to see something special. In fact, the clouds will act as a screen. You will actually be able to see the front and the back edge of the cloud, of the shadow of the moon, moving in, over, and past you during the total phase of the eclipse.
In 2016, you actually boarded a flight from Alaska to Hawaii to intercept the total solar eclipse in that year. Talk about that adventure, because that's quite a story.
Well, a lot of my eclipse chasing buddies were kind of upset about the fact that, and these are people who go to every eclipse. They said, oh my God, we have to go to Indonesia. The path of totality was passing over New Guinea and Sumatra. And then I looked at the eclipse track and I noted that the end of the track was passing between Alaska and Hawaii. And so I went online, I found a Flight 870, Alaska Airlines Flight 870, contacted the hierarchy there and said, you know, if you delay that flight by about 25 minutes, on the way down from Anchorage to Hawaii, there's a chance that we could intercept the shadow of the moon, and you could give your passengers and crew a chance to see a total solar eclipse. Bottom line was, they liked the idea, they did it, and it was an amazing spectacle for all of us to get a chance to see a solar eclipse.
Is there a favorite? I mean, is there, of all the eclipses that you've seen, is there one that just, for whatever reason, stands out above all the rest?
The very first time I ever experienced totality, as a 16-year-old, my grandfather, who had seen the 1925 eclipse in New York when he was 16, promised me that he would take me to see a total eclipse. And he took my grandmother, my mom, my sister on a leisurely 900-mile drive up to the Gaspé Peninsula in Quebec, where we experienced a total solar eclipse. That was my first. That was in 1972, and right after that, I became hooked.
It sounds awe-inspiring. We are looking forward to it for sure here. Joe, I really appreciate your time.
Good luck to all. I've got my fingers crossed for you down in Texas. If I don't make it down there, I still hope that all of you get a chance to see it, because this is an event, as I said, you will remember and take to your grave. You will remember this for the rest of your life. It is an amazing, amazing sight.
That is what we are looking forward to, no doubt about it. Of course, right here on Live Now from Fox. Let's continue our coverage. Now going back out to Philadelphia for some of their pre-coverage as well.
Society, that's the American Astronomical Society, and they went and they rated glasses from different folks that made them to be the most safe. There's a certain code on some of these glasses that we have online at Fox 29, but I would also double check to see if it's on that list, just to make sure you got the most safe glasses. And Karen, you were talking about juggling. I don't know if I can juggle some of these Eclipse glasses. Let's see here. No, I don't think it works up here with me. I think I need to learn that skill a little bit more. But here's what you can do if you don't have any of those Eclipse glasses. You can still view the eclipse safely with some things you might have around the house. First of all, if you got a plate just like this, we did this earlier on Good Day Philadelphia. We have the instructions at fox29.com. You get another paper plate, and what you do is with the pen, you poke a little hole through it. So here, I'll do it live with you guys. Here's a pen, here's a plate, and what you want to do is you want to have a tiny little hole, just like that. Boom. And what's going to happen is the sun will come through that. You're not looking up at the sun through it. No, no, no. The sun's at your back. You let that little hole shine a tiny bit of light. See that very tiny circle? And that will show you what the sun will look like during the eclipse. Right now it's a circle because our sun's a circle, but during the eclipse, we'll see the sun get blocked out and you'll see a crescent. A little bit of light shining onto the plate. And there's some other things you might have in your pantry that you can use. I love this. So here's what I got. I got a box of knockoff Cheez-Its, because they were cheaper. And I got a box of some knockoff Cheerios as well. And they both work. I think this is so cool. First, let's get the Cheez-It, because if you haven't had Cheez-Its in a while, they have a little hole right there in the center. It'll do the same thing. This little hole will project a little spot, and I can even make maybe some animals with my hand right there. We're going to be talking about animals in just a second, how they react to the eclipse. And look at that little hole through the Cheez-It. It's another way that you can see the eclipse safely, because look, we're never looking at the sun. You know, your sunglasses won't work. Welder's glass, I was testing it out. Doesn't seem to be dark enough. How about a Cheerio, just since we got them right there? Who doesn't have a Cheerio? Cheerio in the pantry. It does the same little effect, just like that. Oh, first there's the okay side. It's tough for me to get the Cheerio and the light at the right angle. There it is. I just think that is the coolest thing. And, you know, it's not just the pantry items that you have as well. Maybe you do some smoking, talking some barbecue. We found this in our backyard because we love doing some grilling on Good Day Philadelphia. And this right here will do the same thing. This can project some circles of what the sun looks like. So cool to see that. So while we can look at it, how do animals react? Even though the eclipse puts a smile on our face, not all animals act the same. When I saw the total solar eclipse back in Tennessee, all of a sudden, the birds stopped chirping when it got as dark as dusk. So let's see what else animals did during the 2017 eclipse.
When the eclipse happens, we'll be looking up. But how will animals react? Back in 2017, when we had the last total solar eclipse, scientists studied how zoo animals reacted in South Carolina when the skies went dark. They say Galapagos tortoises started breeding during the peak. Giraffes started to gallop, and other animals displayed behaviors connected with dusk.
Some of the animals behaved as if evening had come, so they went into their nighttime routine. Some of the animals made strange calls, the siamangs. They made a type of vocalization that we had never heard before.
I was in Tennessee for the full eclipse, and the birds stopped singing when it got dark. Back in South Carolina, the flamingos at the zoo did something interesting.
The flamingos all gathered around their chicks during the eclipse, like they were trying to protect the chicks. It'd be really interesting to see if other flamingos do that, or if other flocking birds do the same type of behavior.
This time, researchers are going to study how the eclipse impacts animals in Texas. They want to see if the behaviors they witnessed before in South Carolina point toward larger patterns.
This time around, we're going to look at some of the same types of animals. Texas is the first place in the United States that the eclipse will be passing through. There are other really exciting places that these types of observations could be done.
And to that point, what about your pets? Are you taking your dog out to chill with you? How will your dogs react?
Essentially, everything we know about animal behavior during the eclipse could reasonably be regarded as anecdotal, because there's so little information about it.
Well, this gives us another opportunity to see how your pets react and how all the animals react.
And we want to know. Let us know. Send it to us on our socials. I'll be safely clips with your cell phone and what your animals do, either your pets or around you. So share it with us, and we'll share it in our 5 o'clock news. That is the latest from the gorgeous rooftop. with these perfectly blue skies, Karen. We'll send it back over to you.
Drew, thank you. All right, let's head up to cloudy Rochester to Mike Jarek. So, Mike, did you hear that the animals, their behavior that they do, that the what the Galapagos turtles do during the eclipse?
What do they do?
Get it on.
Oh, they get it on? Now, see, I think it might be interesting to do that in that 3.5 minutes. You know what I mean?
I think so. Obviously,
You know what I mean.
that's what that's, you know, they
Yeah.
get frisky. It's a good thing. You have to have a little view outside.
And I believe there's plenty of people in America or around the world, they're going to do just that, time it just right. That 3.5 minutes. We had to move away from the band. There's a very good band, but they are loud. But we can give you some of the atmosphere around here. I mean, people are starting to get more excited. Did Drew say reporting live from the crystal clear skies of Philadelphia on the roof?
I didn't want to rub it in, but that was exactly how he threw
God.
it. And it's very clear in Indianapolis.
No, you've never heard of Channel 29? Where are you from? We're out of Philadelphia. We came all the way from Philadelphia to Rochester.
Well, I came all the way from California.
Oh, you beat us then. You get the prize. What city?
My name is Simi Valley, California.
I know where that's part of outside of Los Angeles.
Yes.
Calabasas.
Yes.
Thousand Oaks.
You come and visit me when you're. Were you from there?
No, I lived in L.A. for a while, for about 10 years.
Well, my story is that I came up here to be a school counselor, and after I retired, I volunteered. No husband, no dogs, no cats, no kids. My passion was travel. I've been to over 75 countries. But I then moved to California because I did not want to be found dead in bed. And so out there, I continued a meeting here with these with this committee, and so I said I have to come back. So I flew back here, and I've been doing everything. I've just finished my volunteer volunteer shift. And you know what? Even if it's cloudy, whatever it is, it's going to be great. Because I think positive and say, it's great. Just seeing all these people meeting. Can you believe meeting people coming from Philadelphia to record this? Fantastic. And I think you all should have a good time. And I love it. Thank God. And when you know what the Californians say, how could you handle that snow? You know what I say?
What do you say?
I say that is love sent from the angels.
Yes,
and
love.
they say, okay, we'll accept it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Stay well. God bless you.
You know, we have so much in common. We both have such a positive attitude about everything. It's good to meet somebody like myself.
I could listen to her
Should I
all
tell
day.
them my age?
No, you say whatever you want.
I'm going to be 84 on September 8th. Wish me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday. So, you came here for the eclipse, though?
Yes.
3,000 miles. 2,500.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the eclipse is memorable. It's important. And not only that, but I knew coming to the eclipse, I would be able to run into a lot of people who I had known. And you know what? They're all doing well and healthy.
Good. Well, I'm glad I met you.
Yes. You are?
Yeah, I am, actually.
Your name?
Mike.
Mike, I'm Josephine.
Josephine, let's hug.
Mike, ask Josephine after those, I can't believe, 84 years old.
I feel better about things now. I feel better because she, like you said, the sun is, we can kind of see the sun.
Yeah.
It's just a little cloudy.
Yeah. And you know what? What does it matter? It's just the idea that you're here with the experience.
That's right.
And I would never think of staying home watching this by myself.
No.
I want to be out here with all these people.
Exactly.
And I have met connections. I made connections with people from Simi Valley that are actually living there.
Yeah.
And I have, do you know that Cornell sent up 8 buses?
Oh, I saw that. And a bunch of buses came up from Princeton, from our area, too.
Right.
I just haven't been able to find them. Well, good talking to you.
Okay, stay well. Is this all?
Yeah, we're done.
All right, get it on. Let me tell you about New Jersey.
Hold on.
Okay, Mike, she's going to tell you the real scoop now. Watch it. She might have some choice words right there. Or saucy language. That's, Sue, how about?
I think that's when it was going to be getting into the good part there of the interview. You are watching live now from Fox, everyone. We appreciate you continuing to join us here as we are just taking you market to market here as showcasing the latest and previews of the total solar eclipse. More people continuing to come out from all over the country and really around the world. We want to continue to always continue to bring you the latest on Live Now from Fox Worldwide. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. I was going to take you to Fox 5 New York, but it appears that shot is off right now, so we will wait and see for more coming up on Live Now. And a live look right now in Indianapolis as people are gearing up for today's big solar eclipse. It is Eclipse Day, and welcome everyone to Live Now from Fox as we continue to showcase it all to you, bringing you again the top stories of the day. And really, this is the top story, and we're just going to stick with it. We have more coverage again starting in less than an hour from now. We will be bringing it to you thanks to our friends over at Nissan. Oh, I gotta take down everything when I hit this one. All right, total solar eclipse 2024 coverage again starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, presented by our friends over at Nissan. Another live look. Now let me bring back everything. Another live look right here of Niagara Falls as more people continuing to come out, get their spot. They will be in the path there of totality as well, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's go out now to some of our friends over Fox 4 Dallas as they are showcasing, and we're hoping that clouds stay away clouds. Let's listen right now on Live Now.
Northwest in areas like Lantana, Possum Kingdom Lake, and